We are live. So what I'm gonna do is let our Telegram group know right now. I think two of you are like instantaneously here. Like I literally started a live stream. I literally started this live stream, and there's already two of you somehow instantaneously here. I don't even know how it happened that quickly. Right? It's like you call someone, it doesn't ring, and then it like somehow they're on the other line already. Like I'm just gonna let our Telegram group know. And if you guys you want to you want to put a comment, I'll answer your USMLE questions live on YouTube. Yeah, I'm just letting your Telegram group know. Div first. Yeah, Div, how did you get in the chat so quickly? Like, what happened? Like, what exactly occurred is what I want to know. Taj, what's going on, Taj? Mona, what's up, Mona? What's up, Mona? What's up, Nakia? Nakia, what's going on? Crap, because you're fourth, Nakia. Is that why you're fourth? Mohammed, Anter. Hey, Melman, what's going on, Mohammed? What are you up to? Nakia, you missed being first. LOL. You did. You were fourth somehow. But as I said, like I literally hit the start the live stream button. I literally hit start the live stream button, and there were like two people already in here. I don't know how that happened. Like as if like I wasn't the first one here. I don't know what occurred. As I said before, it's like you call someone and then they pick up before it even rings. Good to see you again, Michael. Betamariam, good to see you. Yusef, good to see you. How you going? How you going, G? Jim Solak, what's up, Jim? Good to see you again. Hello, boss, Dr. Mike. What's up, bro? Nakia, what the fuck is that, Nakia? What's up, bro? Jinty Gibson, what's up? Ali Arby. Let's see. How to differentiate between scarlet fever and Kawasaki? It's like right out of the fucking gates. Guys, give the video a like so that it kicks the algorithm up and it will bring people here. Por favor. Yeah, you want to just go right into the fucking game. I literally just did 3 hours of fucking actual USMLE teaching. There's nothing wrong with me answering content, like I'm here to answer USMLE questions, but like it's usually strategy when we do these live streams. But scarlet fever, obviously strep pyogenes, right? Group A strep. That'll be pharyngitis, and then they can give you Jones, like joints. So polyarthritis. O is so Jones, right? J, joints. O is supposed to be like the shape of the heart, like carditis. Can be myocarditis, pancarditis. N, nodules, subcutaneous nodules. E, erythema marginatum. So a serpiginous or annular type of rash. And then S is Sydenham chorea, which is autoimmune phenomena. Chorea is slow writhing movements. Chorea is fast purpose jerking movements. Athetosis is slow writhing movements. But obviously you can, you actually asked about scarlet fever. I'm talking about rheumatic heart disease. Scarlet fever is your salmon pink rash, the maculopapular rash, with a strawberry tongue. I just somehow went into talking about rheumatic heart disease, rheumatic fever. But scarlet fever is just maculopapular rash with a strawberry tongue. And then obviously type 2 hypersensitivity. You have antibodies that cross-react with M protein of the group A strep, cross-reacts with the mitral valve, right? And then Kawasaki, that's going to be 5 days of fever. They like the 5 days. That's important. Not 3 days. It must be at least 5 days of fever. Erythema of the dorsums of the hands, right? You can get cervical lymphadenopathy. You can get injection, which means redness of the lips, tongue, eyes. And then everyone freaks the fuck out and it's like, OMG, can you get coronary aneurysms, right? Yeah. So it's also known as mucocutaneous lymph node disease, medium to large vessel vasculitis. Treat scarlet fever with penicillin. Kawasaki, it's the only thing you can give aspirin to kids for, and intravenous immunoglobulin. Kesta Loya, hi. Leon, what's going on? Leon Davidson, what's going on, dude? Tarek 713, good to see you back. I got a notification from your channel. That's good, Tarek. But you're like, I don't know, 12th in the lineup or 8th, 9th or something. There were people here that showed up before it even, as I said, I started the live stream. Guys, give the video a like so it kicks the algorithm up. Let's see. Just going through your comments here. So if you got USMLE questions, leave the comments. I'll get to your comments. Let me see. I don't even know. Oh, Nikita Goal. Hi. Good to see you back, Nikita. Kogatam, good to see you, man. Good to see you back. Hi, Master. Mustafa, OMG, Mike's live. Good to see you, Mustafa. Yazid Kamel had to come and say hi as always. Good, Yazid. I'm glad you came and said hi. Judah dropped the skincare routine. I've talked about that. I've talked about my skincare routine. I said I use vitamin E oil. I'm 36, but I've been using vitamin E oil since I was like 23 because I was living in Australia, where the sun is really intense. So you have to like learn, take care of your skin, right? But I use vitamin E oil before I go to sleep. That's what I use. Mona Adam. And you just got to eat well. Mona, and not smoke. I don't smoke. If you smoke, kiss your skin goodbye. Mona Adams, notifications. Brahma Jamalat. Hello, Mike. Good to see you, Brahma. Moad. What's up, babe? I mean, I hope you're a chick, right? Kisbel Pena Estrella. Hi, what's going on, Kisbel? Kesta, hello, Mike. Ahmed, hey, Doc. Bashar, hello. Good to see you guys. Bashar, what's going on, dude? Ahmed, what's up? Kesta, what are you doing? Nakia, never missed you, bro. If I can help it, always ready to learn with you. AP Sans, what's up, buddy? Just got 80% correct on NBME 6. That's very good. And apparently that means I got about 210. What do you make of that? 80 correct. Well, it's a 184 question assessment, NBME 6. So 80%. Yeah, 6 is a little bit weird with the conversion. What you could do is use the NBME 7 conversion, interestingly, or NBME 8. You can sort of just like, quote unquote, try that conversion and just see what happens. But NBME 6 is like a little bit dodgy in terms of the conversions. Although I want you doing the NBME, yeah, and we have your 210 there. I don't obsess over NBME 6. Okay. So just sit 7, sit 8. I've said that you're going to do all those in sequence anyway. Like you do UWorld or Amboss for 2CK. Then you do all the clinical mastery series forms, which will take you 3 to 3.5 weeks when you do 2 per day, 45, 50 forms. And then you do 6 through 8 and NBME per 2 days. So that's 6 days. And you go do a double pass of all the CMS forms. And then you do free 120, then 9 through 14, right? So just do 7 and 8, and we'll see how those go. Before we get emotional about like why you got a 210, right? And even if 7 and 8 aren't where you want them to be, like let's say you take 7 and 8 AP sounds and your scores are not as good as you want, right? And you're like upset. What's the next best step in management? Well, the next best step is you're just going to do a second pass of all the CMS forms anyway. So irrespective of how low or high your NBMEs are, that's literally the next best step. Sokib Sadov. Hey, Dr. Mike. What's going on, Sokib? Parth. Hi, Mike. What's going on, Parth? Div, there was a stream that will begin at schedule thing, LOL. There definitely was not, because I did not announce this stream in any capacity. That's like really bizarre. Maybe you're just like literally on my channel. I think that's what happened. Maybe you were on my channel when you got the notification somehow. I don't know. Sabi, what's going on? Hello, Melman. Stigmata, what's up? What's going on, Stigmata? Kesta, hi, can you see me? No, I cannot see you. Your thumbnail's a little purple K. Moad, Swide, wanted to watch some Netflix for my break, but I found something better to watch. That's good. Let's see. Nakia. Yeah, I need to change that, huh? We say babe in the South. I will change that. LOL. Well, if you're a fucking dude, I don't want you like calling me babe. Like, if you're a chick, that's okay, right? Taj Sidhu, do you practice as well? I've said I don't practice. I do USMLE. Obviously, I graduated med school. I'm a doctor, but I don't practice. Moad Swayed. But I said if I did go on a residency, I would have done family medicine because that was my favorite in med school, which is nice when you get high scores, but you want to do something that's not competitive anyway, potentially. Like that's like a good feeling, you know? But as I said, I didn't ultimately want to do that. Moad Suede says, how about a next best step high yield PDF? Why don't you just do my fucking PDFs? Because I have next best step like throughout many of those PDFs. Jaden B. Vergase. Hello, sir. Appreciate all the work you do for us. Thank you. Kesta. Yeah, next best high yield PDF. Ahmed, Doc, with all due respect, I'm hesitant to use your PDFs. Here we go. Can't wait for the cuck fucking like where's this going, right? Let's just see. Can't wait for this. Let's do it. Doc, with all due respect, I'm hesitant to use your PDFs. People on Reddit, here we go. People on Reddit say, hey, say from high yield arrows, only one question helps. It's like massively fucking cuck. People say to do high yield or say to do FA instead. Yeah, like massively top tier cuck. I mean, I think people are in the business of saying no, right? Like that's okay. I'm happy if people score lower and then because they don't use my stuff, like that's up to them. People who use my stuff will score higher. But the notion that high yield arrows only helped people with regard to one arrow question, quote unquote, showing up on their real deal. I mean, it misses the boat entirely because it's not that you're going to go into your real USMLE and get 50 fucking arrow questions. That's not how it works. What's going to happen is you're going to go into your USMLE and you're going to get a question where they give you sodium 132, potassium 5.7, bicarbonate 20, pH 7.32. And you need to know that those are basically just arrows, right? Right. I mean, that's what I just described right there. So like you'd have to be able to convert, like they'll give you lab values and like, well, that's how those would be integrated throughout questions. So you got to know the concepts. Okay. And I can guarantee you that if anyone were to repine, if anyone's going to be like whiny and derogatory about the notion of only one question showing up and how that means high yield arrows isn't helpful, it means the person hasn't gone through my PDF, because anyone who actually goes through my fucking PDF 100% of the time, they're like, it's the best fucking PDF and like nothing else out there compares type thing. So it's like it's a massive cuckery. you know but it's fair. People say, oh, do FA or whatever. I mean, it's fair because, social proof in the macro is a real thing. Like it's that's a real thing, like 2 decades of, if you've been on top for 2 decades for USMLE, like that's going to have residual lasting effects and people might be hesitant to have any type of transition. That's okay. So, but things are going to play out in time. Von Wilbrand, as he says, the subscriber count is growing. Love to see it. I'm not big. I have like over maybe 16. I have a little over 16K subs. That's not big. But yes, when I first started this YouTube, I used to, those old clips, I was like sitting in a bunker, basically, my old place. And like, I would get like 4 views on like the old videos. That's how it used to be. Everyone starts with 0. AJ Aragala, hey Mike, I started doing your YouTube high yield questions and started to see increase in my NBME scores. Is it okay? Am I not inflating the scores by just doing the questions? You're asking if going through my YouTube MCQs is artificially inflating your NBME scores. I mean, it's also cuckery, right? Because do you see people complaining that UWorld inflates their scores on the NBMEs or that Amboss inflates their scores? No. But you'll get people, you'll see questions in UWorld that are similar to those on the NBMEs, because if you're studying the right things, then your scores are going to go up. That's how it works. The whole idea is to get higher NBME scores, which are the same as the real USMLE. If my PDFs and my YouTube MCQs get your scores higher on the NBMEs, that necessarily means that my resources are getting you higher scores in the real USMLE, because this is as simple as A equals B, where the NBMEs equaled the real USMLE. So um, I think people would be okay, quote unquote, with the score inflation on the real USMLE. My real USMLE score was artificially inflated. Is that okay? I think that's okay, right? Ali Harby, do you have any idea? People say UWSA 1 under predicts your score. I got a 253. That was yesterday. NBME 10, 252 1 week ago. NBME 12, 249. 31st July, can I hit 250 plus? Yeah, I mean, your question reads as like like a 1/3 troll because I know most people watching this are just like hoping to pass. And you're asking about like 250s. That's fair, but I mean, I'm not concerned about UWSA 1. You've given me NBME 10, NBME 12. I mean, what about 6 through 8, 9, 13, 11, 9, 11, 13, 14? Where are those exams? So do those forms, right? I mean, why are we not doing those? I don't give a fuck about your UWSA. I don't prescribe doing UWSA. I've said there's a time and place for UWSA, which can entail if someone's already exhausted all the MBMEs. If you've done all the MBME exams and you've come to me and you had a fail on the step or something, and you say, "What do I use now?" Okay, we could use MBME 4 offline. We could use UWSA 1, 2, etc. Galazzo, hey Dr. Mike, the goat, what's going on? What's up, Galazzo? Fluffy girl, good to see you back. Lost where I fucking was in the chat. Sometimes it moves on me. Fluffy girl, I got 43% UWSA 2. Exam in August. I'm so screwed. Any tips, please? As I just said, I don't give a fuck about UWSA 2, UWSAs in general, but clearly if 43% UWSA 2 would be the same thing as getting like 43% on your UWorld blocks. So you're just not ready. That's all. I think I think yesterday or 2 days ago in the stream, we were talking about your scores, and I was saying like 40s just aren't ready, and I was saying you're gonna have to postpone. And I probably gave you, I probably discussed how to extend your schedule a bit. So I mean, you can write that further down the chat. I'll address it. George Horne, do you think step 1 being pass fail makes it less important for DO students and rather focus way more on step 2? You still need to pass step 1 for DO, presumably. Obviously, you're going to do your COMLEX, but the thing is, you're not going to do as well on step 2 if you don't sit step 1. It's like some fucking like bug flying around here. You're not going to do as well on step 2 if you don't sit step 1 first. So if you're a DO student, you plan on sitting step 2 eventually, you're going to have to fucking sit step 1. L3333000 says, much love, superhero. Jinty Gibson, off topic, but what are some of the pros and cons of living in Japan? The main pros, it's safe. People aren't fucking assholes. They're very like courteous. And you can drink alcohol in the street and it's not a problem. You can drink alcohol anywhere. So there's like freedom that way. It's got a rich culture. People like coming here. It's got great food, of course. Cons, I would say the number one thing is there's illogical rule setting. There's lots of protocols, just lots of rules for no fucking reason. And, for example, when I go to the gym, I have to take off my shoes before entering the gym, and I have to put on a separate pair of shoes in the gym. That's like fucking weird. And like when I first moved here, that caused like serious problems. Like I wore my shoes into the gym and they like wouldn't let me work out. They were like, "You have to leave," and I was like angry. I almost canceled my membership, kind of thing. But then I wasn't going to get my money back, and it was like really fucking annoying. So I have to I change my shoes entering the gym. That's just like a very beta thing. That's like that's very Japanese. You have to pay in cash a lot of places. Like in the United States, you can tap your card at like every location. You got to pay in cash a lot. I pay in cash all the time. I literally carry around coins daily. And there's a high level of whining Like, people are very like fearful overall, compared to like Americans. There's a lot of whining. People are still wearing masks. I'd say like at least a third of people are still wearing masks. It's very just like whiny. I hate that shit. Like I really hate that. So I mean, there's pros and cons. L33 says, "How has your evening been?" Well, I just did 3 hours of teaching. Sasha Logan, if you smoke, you can kiss your skin goodbye. Well, it's true. I mean, like you ask about my skincare routine, it's like, well, I don't smoke. If you smoke, like you're finished. Like smoking's the lowest IQ thing you can do. If you smoke, like don't get salty with me. Like you shouldn't fucking smoke. What do you want me to tell you? Kesta Layoa says, "Hey Mike, how about your next best step high yield PDF?" I just fucking answered that. I said that my PDFs are loaded with that stuff. Muskin MGN, does UWorld score matter? No, it doesn't matter. I don't care about UWorld scores. I've said that regardless of how low or high you're scoring in QBank, I just want you to move through unemotionally and not fixate on your scores. So whether you're getting a 38% in UWorld and you're all like despondent, or whether you're getting an 82% and you're elated, I don't really give a fuck because you're just going to finish UWorld anyway, and then you're going to do the NBMEs. I don't have people sit NBMEs throughout their prep as some arbitrary gauge because it doesn't change our management in terms of like you're still going to do UWorld anyway. So like I want you to do the NBMEs when you finish UWorld. So I just wait to see how you do on the NBMEs when you're done with QBank. I can pretty much gauge where you are based on your QBank percentages without you needing to sit in NBME. Like if you're getting like 40s in QBank, like I know you're not passing. If you're 60s, that's good. If you're like 50s, borderline, but not ideal. And then we'll sit the NBMEs and we'll see how you go, right? Mona Adam, thank you for your PDFs. Helped a lot, and I am addicted to them. Omar Gaber, hi. Are mixed tiled review files still can be used or only by subject files? Do the high yield mixed review PDFs? Yes. I've said they're based on the internal medicine CMS forms, but you can absolutely use them for step one. There's like a couple things. There's some things in there that are like clinical you can ignore. Like I think I have like indications for statins in there or something. Like obviously, if you're studying for step one, you can ignore that. But I have like high yield pearls factoids that overlap with step one, step two. Just learn those PDFs. Yeah. The combination of my 1, 2, 3, 4 high yield mixed review PDFs, that combination far eclipses the rapid review at the end of FA for like final review. Brown says, hi, Mike. What's going on, Brown? Rahula Mohammadi. Hello, Dr. Mike. Good to see you back. Fluffy girl. I'm tired of reading UWorld. Can I pass if I just read your PDFs and the NBMEs? I've said that I want you to do all of QBank. Your scores aren't where we need them to be. So I would say for now, no, you're not ready. You're in the 40s, right? You're not ready to do the NBMEs. You should be doing UWorld 40 per day. And you should, then when you take your lunch break, you're going to do my PDFs. And if you're not able to process my PDFs, you can do my YouTube MCQs. The YouTube MCQs, like the number that are, I think it's like 760 plus or whatever. I don't know how many at this point, but that's not an insignificant number. So like if someone has literally gone through all my fucking YouTube MCQs, they'll actually be pretty like scoring pretty decently. Like they really will be. So Bassam Zeno says, hey Mike, I can't postpone step one in 30 days. Did NBME 25 like 3 months ago, got 178. What do you recommend? Well, obviously you NBME 25 3 months ago, you failed it. Okay. Well, you need to be, if you can't postpone and your exams in 30 days, you need to spend this whole final month doing just NBME exams. Like that's what you need. You need to go nuclear on the NBME exams, 20 through 31 and free 120. You have to use those NBMEs, and you're gonna do high yield arrows. I mean, I'd want you to sit NBME 20. I'd want to see where you're sitting, and if you get under 190 on 3-digit score conversion for NBME 20, I would ordinarily have you postpone. and go back to QBank for at least a month, you said you can't postpone. So it'd be a situation where I'd say, I'm not happy with your scores right now. We're going to try to, force you through the NBME exams. That occasionally happens if a student says they can't postpone, but like, it's not ideal. So I'd start with NBME 20 and work your way up 2 days per exam. You're going to make Anki from your incorrects. Talked about that ad nauseum. AP Sans, thank you for your advice. I feel better about it. It was 80% correct, not 80 correct. I already addressed that. I'm taking off my socks in case you're wondering what I'm doing. You're the best. Brown, I used the FA. Your IO PDFs in UWorld at the same time. I mean, I read a topic on FA and then do your PDFs before I answer UWorld. Is that a good approach? What did I just read? I have to read that again. I use FA, your highlight PDFs in UWorld at the same point. I mean, I've said you don't have to go through FA. I mean, you should do my PDFs. Those are priority, right? I mean, go through my PDFs in a particular subject. Rahula Muhammad, your videos are totally very useful. Thank you, Rahula. Nakia says, not a dude, I promise. If you're not a dude, though, you shouldn't like call guys like dude or bro. That's the thing. Samia Saad says, hi, Dr. Mike. What's your advice? My exam is in 30 days. I don't feel ready. I know absolutely nothing about your situation. So how am I going to ascertain / diagnose your scenario, right? Green and Gray ZP. I just started studying for step 1 and have been spending an hour on 10 questions per block. That's fine. That's fine. You're asking how to speed things up. That's fine. 4 hours to do 40 questions. Like, that's totally fine. Guys, if you're coming into the live stream, please give the video a like. It'll help the algorithm out. And also, if you're here and you're not subscribed to my channel, you're a fucking asshole. Prince CS says, missed so many easy layup questions on the real test. 30 to 40 Qs, still possible to pass. That's like laughable, right? I mean, 280 questions on the real deal, and you got a 30 to 40 wrong. I mean, that's good performance. Ali Harby, proxy medicine in Australia or in the USA, what's your opinion? Obviously, completely different systems. Australia is faster and better, in my opinion, up until the point that you graduate med school. Like, it's faster. You can get in from high school. There's a greater percentage of Australians who don't do this like long 4-year fucking undergrad or like 6 years of the master's or nonsense like that. In the United States, it's like basically like 98%. Like, there are like 7-year like programs. Like when I was at Boston University, there were like, like SMEDs, we call them, 7-year medical students. So they did like 3 years undergrad. They were already accepted from high school, but they did like 3 years undergrad with some medical integration. Then they started med school. But Australia's faster until the point that you graduate med school, but then they're worse post-grad because you don't go straight into a residency in a certain area. You rotate through. After you graduate, you're an intern, you're a junior house officer, you're a senior house officer, you're a principal house officer, where you're just literally rotating. And you can begin to specialize, but like, you're not on a training program yet, and you have to apply into a training program, and then you're finally in. And that's like the start of their residency. So it's longer post-grad in Australia, which if your aim is to like, make an attendings level income. In Australia, we call them consultants. We don't call them attendings. But to get a consultant level income or attending level income, obviously the United States, it's more streamlined because you just go straight from med school into like your fucking derm program or whatever you're doing. So you only do like 4 years and then you're like, boom, you're an attending. In Australia, you got to do like fucking 3-4 additional years after med school to get into your training program. Then you go into that, and then so it's a longer pathway. But A potential pro of that is you gain more experience as an actual practicing fucking doctor, which will force the evolution of your perspectives. And that can be healthy in terms of deciding what you ultimately want to do, right? Because, like, how do med students with zero fucking clinical experience, apart from like a little bit that they did on a rotation, or that they like, people just go into med school saying like they want to do fucking heart surgery when they don't fucking know. So it's like, you know, uh, it's hard. How do you know, like, you want to go into a certain subject or a certain field when you're a med student? But in Australia, you can do like, you'll rotate through like more peds or more psych or more emergency, different areas that you might not be interested in. And my experience in Australia, when I talked to doctors there, um, was that they often had experiences as post grads before their training programs that helped them solidify their interests in ways that they didn't anticipate. Right. I noticed that with psych in particular. Like when I asked people like why did you want to be like go into psych? And they were often like, oh, I didn't want to do psych. I didn't like psych in med school. But then I like worked in emergency because that's what I wanted to do. And my favorite part of being in emergency was like when all the psych consults came in. And then that's how I knew I wanted to go into psych. Like those are perspectives that like I gained, So Australia, there's that you could consider that a benefit in many ways. Because if you just choose radiology from like US med school and you say I'm going to do like 4-year radiology, like maybe you'll be fucking miserable if you hate radiology. Maybe not miserable if you're making like 700K a year, right? But you got to sit in a fucking dark room looking at fucking chest x-rays. Like, is that really what you want to do your whole fucking life, right? There's no judgment. I mean, life could be worse than making like 700K a year sitting in a dark room, right? I mean, that's not the worst case scenario, right? ABDMUS said I scored 62% by doing UWorld. I don't know. I'm apparently dyslexic. I scored 62% by doing your PDFs. Okay. And Pathoma, but didn't finish UWorld. Exam is in about a month. What should I do? Should I go over your PDFs again or UWorld? I've said in the final month, QBank has 0 roll. Right? I mean, I've reiterated that like I don't know how many times, like in the 3 digits in these live streams alone. I said that in the final month. How many fucking times have I said like you're gonna do the NBMEs in the final month, right? QBank doesn't have a role at that point. Okay, so AP San says, "Are you okay with students taking multiple NBMEs the week before the real exam?" Yeah, I am. I've talked about like how to do your final schedule as an example, but the final month is going to be your 20 through 24, then free 120, and then 25 through 31. Let's see, I lost where I was in the chat. Let me see, where was I? Moad Suede says the fact that this dude is the cause of a lot of docs are practicing medicine is just wholesome. Imagine every life is saved and the credit goes to Mike. See you in heaven, bruh. I like don't think that way. Like some people are like very like they're in like a very like that's like a very like spiritual like type place. Like that's not, I don't know, I don't really like operate in that. Like I don't take credit. That's what I don't take credit for stuff. I don't like attribute people doing well and like going on to be practicing. I don't feel like that's me. I feel like that's you guys who do that for yourselves. Green and Gray ZP. Also much respect for everything you do. I love how real you are and your personality is so unique and inspiring. I appreciate you. Fluffy girl. The Titanic submersible imploded because of bad material. Any comment? Well, I mean, they said it was carbon fiber, right? 5 inches of carbon fiber. And apparently it can resist outward force well, but not like inward force well. I mean, I don't really know what to say. Like, ideally, it's supposed to be a metal sphere like titanium, that's ideal for deep submersion. You know, um, obviously, I understand the point of your question is like you're you're relating it to you're analogizing it to like USMLE content material. So if people do cuck resources, then you know they're not going to get the outcomes they're looking for. Stigmata, I'm worried that you are basing all the high yield points from NDMEs, and there are more important concepts that will show up in the real exam. I know they are the same, but wonder if it's not enough. How about you worry more than you already are? Like my resources are literally like as close as it gets to like learning what's on the real exam, right? Like, what do you want me to do? Like, what do you want me to do for you, Stigmata? I'm not worried. You might be worried. I'm not worried. Can't get emotional about things. You know what I mean? You gotta just fucking study and not worry about dumb shit. That's my view. Marcos Rocha. I find myself answering my NBME incorrects on Anki by memory without needing to read the question. Is that okay, or should I make the conscious effort to always read the question? It's fine. You can just. That's fine. I want you to have rapid recall like that. That's the point. That's fine. Moad Suede is it normal to? Is it normal if you say what the fuck during solving UWorld 2CK? That's fine. Sasha Logan, can you get your license to practice in the US without doing residency? I don't think so. Can an IMG who is a specialist in their country? Okay, I see what you're asking. Do all three steps and get their license without having to be a hospital resident? I don't know the specifics of that. I stay within my fucking lane. I would doubt that you can just like. Actually, I don't know. I'm not. I stay within my lane. Like if you're like an attending, you can. And can you just go? Can you just like waltz into the United States and like start practicing? And you haven't done a residency in the United States. I don't really see how that would be possible. I feel like um, you'd probably have to go through some training in the US, which is why like it's you can't really just change countries like that because guidelines are different, practice ways of practice are different. But as I said, I don't fucking know. Like, I mean, I'm not like an attending in one country wanting to go to the US and trying to get through those hurdles. Mohammed Fayed. Hey, Mike, love your content. Man, I'm currently in my second pass of step one, doing your videos with Amboss. Then I'm going to do a second cycle of random UWorld with your PDFs and NBMEs. Any suggestions? I don't think you need to do UWorld and Amboss. You can just do like one QBank and then do the NBMEs after that. Whoever just dropped a super chat, I really appreciate it. Who was that? Marcos. Thanks, Marcos, for your $5 super chat. $5. Let's see. Where the fuck was I? Moad Suede. First NBME without high yield PDFs was 52%. After scanning, going through a few PDFs, got 72%. Now that is the answer for people who say PDFs are useless. No one says my PDFs are useless. If anyone says my PDFs are useless, e.g. on Reddit, it's because they haven't fucking done them. Like, I mean, that's like Amir Chahimi. Hey Mike, do you check IGDM? Did you send me an IGDM? Sometimes people ask IG, like they send questions, like medical, like cuck questions through IGDM, and I sometimes ignore them because I'm not going to answer cuck like you're going to send me like 3 paragraphs with like your scores, and then expect me to like answer that. It's not about ego. You got to have a certain like a certain like minimal degree of conscientiousness that like maybe I don't want to see like cuck fucking questions through DM, right? That's probably what it is. Sometimes I'll heart it. Like I acknowledge that you like sent me something, but I don't answer it because I don't want to answer cuck fucking questions, as I said. Or I'll say, just ask this in the Telegram group. Right? You can ask in the Telegram group. And some people get salty with that too. They're like, oh, Mike's dismissive. He's not nice. Right? The net result is just most people get salty. Most people take things personally. It's lack of empathy. Green and gray ZP. Should I use the UWorld self-assessment form 1 the first week of studying to see where I am at? The answer is no. What is a good exam to give me a sense of what I need to work on? I have 2 months before step 1. You're just going to be working on QBank right now, and then a month and 4 days out, you can switch to the NBME exams. That's what you can do. Mughal 900 with 4 cats. Green and gray ZP. What city in Japan do you live in? I'm in Osaka, not Tokyo. I could have moved to Tokyo. I mean, when I first came here, I applied to an immersion school in Tokyo first. Actually, I didn't like how the staff was responding to me via email. Like they were pretty rude through email, and then the staff at Osaka, they were friendly through email. And like I was just finishing like medical school, and the last fucking thing I needed was like some rude staff like speaking to me through email like I'm some like 17-year-old high school student. It's because I had applied to the Tokyo school. I gave them a down deposit, and then they like send me emails saying like if you don't respond, if you don't finish the application by X date, like you're gonna lose your down deposit, and we're not gonna like accept you into the school or whatever. But they were like rude about it, almost like threatening, like as if like they were scolding me. That's how it like came off, and I was like, I don't have any interest in that. They were literally like speaking to you like you're like a 17-year-old who like didn't hand in your homework or something. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, I'm a 29-and-a-half-year-old doctor. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, that's literally what it was. And then Osaka, they were super fucking friendly through email. And I was just like, it was a no brainer. And I already visited Osaka when I was in med school. So I did 15 months at I did 15 months at an immersion school in Osaka, and then I went to another immersion school. I switched immersion schools for about another 6 months. It's a long discussion, long story. Ali Harby, I am the one who asked about UWorld Self-Assessment 1 and did all the CMS forms twice, NBME 6 to 8, NBME 9 with 249, NBME 10, 252, NBME 11, 250, NBME 13, NBME 12, 249. Your scores are fucking high. Like, what is the problem here? Like, I know you want your 250 plus, like, obviously, but like, what do you want me to do? Like, hold your hand, escort you? Like, what do you want me to do? Right? I mean, chicks don't want like dudes who hold their hand. That's not what they're looking for, right? I mean, it's like, what do you want me to say? Like, you'll get your 250. You just gotta like, push the NBME material hard. The like review the NBMEs hardcore. Go through your wrongs, like figure out like where your gaps are. You have to, make those discernments the best you can in the final stretch. And that's how you can get over 250. Patch up your biostats. Make sure you're not missing basic fucking math questions, right? Fluffy girl can't postpone Mike. I did 53% on NBME 31, 51%. I mean, you're not passing, Fluffy girl. You're nowhere near passing. 51% NBME 21, 53% NBME 30. You're not anywhere near passing. You need like at least like 2/3. Pavi Sahota, 68 shelf exam score average. Any idea if I'm passing at this range? Borderline. I've said 2/3. 68's like not bad, but we want higher. I'd want more of a buffer. 68's not bad though. Ahmed, why you chose Japan as destination though? I've said I like Asian chicks. I'm into Asian chicks, but also, it's not like I had like a pros and cons fucking like Excel spreadsheet or anything. It's like I thought about different places, but Japan, I had visited here when I was in med school, and I decided to come back, right? So, I like travel. So I lived in Australia for 7 years. I've lived in Japan 7 years. I almost moved to South Korea in 2018. I almost moved there, but I couldn't get the working holiday visa. That's a long story as well, but it's fine because living in Japan has been great. Like I love living here. And South Korea is more fucked in terms of its like they're number one in the world for lowest birth rate and like feminism and stuff. So maybe it's good that I didn't move there. Hashash. Hi Mike. Did you did two NBMEs in UWorld self assessment? You got 265, 266. Took the exam 2 days ago. Did relatively well, but unfortunately, due to delays of score during June, I'm so worried. That's like laughable. Like how laughable is that? Guys, I got a 265, 266 on my like final assessment, so I'm worried that my score might not be like a 265 or 266. I mean, what do you want me to say to that? Like, why are we worrying here? I mean, go have like I'd say go have like a tequila or something, based on your username. Maybe you don't drink, right? I have a lot of followers that are like religious, who like don't drink, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, but you gotta like chill the fuck out, right? Like if you're getting a 265, 266 going into your USMLE, and then you come out and you're like worried, like there's some sort of discordance there as far as like you gotta like chill the fuck out. Von Willebrand disease. Would you ever want to teach at a med school? The answer is no. You said you seem overqualified. You'd have to pay me like $1 million a year or something. Like if they offered me like a lot of money to go to like a Caribbean school, they were like, no jokes, like we'll give you like 900K to like come here for the year or something and like teach, I would say no. Because it's not just money. Like I see my time, like I see like I'd rather be in like Asia. You'd have to pay me like over $1 million to like get me to come to it and like actually teach and deal with fucking like bureaucracy at a fucking med school and like wear a fucking like button down shirt and shit. You'd have to pay me like over $1 million. That'd be for like pain and suffering of like doing that. I'd have no interest. MD Mustafa. Hey Mike, I'm from India. I'm currently in med school final year. Recently got to know about your channel. Should I read first aid or is it okay to read your highlight PDFs directly? You can just go through my PDFs, Mustafa. There's a lot of fucking Mustafas. I've heard that's like the mic in Turkey. I don't know if you're in Turkey, but I've heard that's like it's like equivalent of Mike. One of my friends whose name is Mustafa said that. He said in Turkey they just like pump out Mustafas. Someone gets pregnant, they're just like, let's call the kid Mustafa. Unless the chick takes plan B or something, right? Because that's what they also do in Turkey. Apparently it's like Turkey's number one in the world for highest number of sexual partners, but everyone plan B apparently is like $3 there. Alvaro Tavares. What's up, Melman? You spelled my name right. That's cool. Just did your high yield renal PDF and Anki cards. That's cool. Was there a question with that, or was that it? High yield renal PDF's fucking good, yeah. Mary Hadamova. Hey, Dr. Melman, is it enough for biostatistics material one day? Do you mean just like studying biostats all in one day? Biostats, annoyingly, is essentially the most longitudinal topic in the sense that you can't go from zero to like, boom, you've learned all your biostats in one day. You have to do that through questions longitudinally to learn it over time in QBank and to learn it from the NBME exams. If you're asking going through my biostats PDF in one day, it's possible. It'd be a lot, but it's possible. I mean, biostats is like not the most exciting topic to go through, right? So yeah, I wouldn't want to be sitting in a cubicle doing biostats. Just put it that way. Like I would need like a, you'd need to give me like a venti cappuccino, um, at a minimum, bare fucking minimum. I need like a venti for like every like hour I'm in like the cubicle or something doing biostats. Like that wouldn't go over well. Good to see you, Mary Hatamova. I like your name, as I've said. Merkenzio. Hi, Mike. Do you feel like your on screen personality has changed since you first started making USMLE videos? Um, I don't really think of it in that context. I don't think so. Like, maybe your feeling of that may have evolved because, like there's a learning curve with making content, right? Like, if you were to start making random fucking videos like daily for a year, talking about something, well, you're gonna be very different probably by the end of the year, just in terms of not only your own growth external to the content you're making, but just the style. Maybe it comes off different over time. Um, but if I look at my like I get the comments. I have a YouTube app on my phone, right? So when I check the app for like analytics or new comments, and I can quickly like look at things. People comment on old videos. I see things by most recent. So I occasionally someone will comment on like one of my oldest videos. Um, and if I occasionally like go back to an old video, they're like pretty like they're like bootleg. Like I was like in like a bunker. The lighting was really bad. You know, I looked different as well. I think even my voice was different. They're just like they're different videos, but that's fine. It's like it's like documenting your life in like a weird way. Just that aspect, that domain. Um, I'd say now, I just don't. I know even more so how to not waste people's time. That's like the benefit of like having made so many of these fucking questions. That's why my intros are like pretty like short and fast. It's because like people, if you go to my very old videos, my intros are like very slow. Um, I'm like, please subscribe to my channel and, please give this video a like, help grow this channel, share it with your friends. It's like very like slow and like, you say those things as like an intro, but like now I'm just like, people don't want to fucking hear that shit. So like you can skip it, but it actually does matter, annoyingly, right? I don't fucking run ads on my videos. I ever put an ad on my video? No. But I mean, um, I try to breeze through the intros at least, and I try to keep the MCQs to 3 to 5 minutes. Which today, the one I put out was like 8 minutes, which it's long. That's like too long in my view. But I launch it anyway because I'm not gonna. I don't need to be polished or like I don't. I just. I'm okay with just putting things out. You got to just put out quantity. That's what it is. Quantity is more important than quality, quote unquote. You know, obviously the material I put out is going to be quality, but I'm saying that if you make content, you can't get mentally bogged down in the notion of like every fucking thing you put out has to be like perfect or you can't put it out. You have to just put out fucking shit that's like, yes, real or candid. Like occasionally I'll make a mistake while I record a video and I'm aware of it, but I'm like, I'm not recording this. I'm not re-recording the whole fucking clip right now. Like that clearly happens. Um, you know, But same Zaino, thank you, man. I'll do NBME 20 tomorrow and see where I stand. Musa Batur. Hey, Mike, what UWorld percentage correct permits me to start NBMEs? You're going to start NBMEs regardless. You're going to do 20 and 21 initially. You're going to try to break 60% on those. But basically, you're going to get the 3-digit score conversion. So you're going to go to Google Images, not Google Images, and you're going to type in NVMe 20 score conversion Reddit, NVMe 21 score conversion Reddit. You're going to plug your number of wrongs into the X, the best fit line equation. You're going to get Y, your 3-digit score. 197 internal pass mark for step 1. I want a 205, 210 plus ideally for buffer before you sit the real deal. But I allow people to get mild fails, quote unquote, on 2021, meaning if you get a 190 to 196 on NVMe 20, I allow you to go to 21. If you get a 190 to 196 on 21, I allow you to go to 22. But once you hit 22, you have to get a 197 or higher on all the exams, or else if you fail any of them, you have to go back to QBank for at least a month. Students don't want to do that. They're like, no, I don't want to do that. It's like, okay, then my advice is don't fucking fail on NVMe then, right? I'll incentivize students to like score higher by telling them that their alternative is going to be something they definitely don't want to do. If I tell you you're going back to QBank for 6 weeks, you're like, fuck no, I have to sit. I want to sit soon. It's like, then don't fucking do shitty. Do well. And then they do well, right? But yeah, I mean, if you do, if you're going through 20 and 21 and you get 189 or lower, you're going to go back to QBank for a whole month at least. So I don't give a fuck what your percentages are in UWorld. We just use the NVMEs when you're done with UWorld to, just gauge where you are and have you move through the process of 20 through 24, 4120, and then 25 to 31. Ali H. Hello, Dr. Mike. Good to see you again, Ali H. Does the OBGYN PDF cover reproduction for step 1 like hydrocele, varicocele? Why don't you go through the fucking PDF? Okay, you can control F that, search that. The thing is, I have a lot of the repro in there now. Like if you literally open the repro OBGYN PDF, I write in the preface that the last 30-ish pages are like all step 1, right? Like I write that in the preface. Like all the early stuff in there is, or all the last 30 pages are all step 1 material. All the early stuff is the step 2 OBGYN stuff. AAA asks, 1 month can't delay. Finish your world 58%, NVMe, or no, you finish your world, you got a 58%, NVMe 25. It's a fail. You're not ready. You have to delay. If you can't delay, then you're just going to go through NVME's 20 through 31 this final month and free 120, and you're gonna get your scores. And I want you to get 3-digit score conversions. You need a 205, 210 plus, and you got to bear in mind that 197 is the pass mark. If you're getting below 197, you say you can't postpone. If you're getting below 197, just bear in mind that those are fails on the USMLE. So it's incredibly, it's a very low IQ move to sit the USMLE if you're getting below 197 on the NVMe exams. It's infinitely better to postpone and induce some sort of inconvenience. Get a doctor's note if you have to. Okay. I don't want you taking a fail in the USMLE. So take the NVMEs this month. Do the NVMEs. But if you get below 197, you're not fucking sitting. Like it's better to like get in trouble with school and have your school say like, oh, you have a doctor's note or whatever, and then they give you like an extra like 3 weeks. I don't give a fuck. Like that's what you should do. Nick Zeusman. Hi, Mike. I'm a dental student taking the CBSE for OMFS programs. For dental schools that don't have a medical background, what's your recommendation for getting good score base, doing UWorld in your PDFs? I have plenty of dental students. I taught a dental student today, actually. I mean, because you guys doing like a lot of the craniofacial stuff, like the dual track, and you got to get a good CBSE score. That's not just a pass, but you guys got to get a high score. So you're going to prep exactly as you are for step 1. That's what it is. Exactly as you are for like the med students are for step 1. You got to prep for that for your CBSE. You're literally doing a medical school CBSE, trying to do well on it while you're in dental school. That's what you're literally doing right now. So you're going to do QBank, UWorld, or Amboss. You're going to do my PDFs. You're going to do my YouTube MCQs. You're going to do the NVMe exams. Priya. Hey, Mike, I just got a 65% NVMe 29. This is my first time getting 65, and all my previous NVMEs are below 60. I have my exam in 20 days, if possible to pass. So I'm assuming you have 30. Do you have 30 and 31 remaining, Priya? Yeah, have you done 20 through 24 offline for you in 20? So you're going to do the remaining NBMEs and you're going to convert to 3-digit scores. And I want you getting 205, 210 plus. Same as the advice I just gave to, who was it? AAA. You got to make sure you're doing well in the NBME exams. You got to get above 197 to pass. Dina says, "Hi, Mike. Thank you for all you're doing for us. How should I study for IM Shelf? I started reviewing your high yield review PDFs. Does it cover all the CMS forms?" Well, my PDFs, yeah, it's you're doing just IM Shelf. I've said high yield mixed reviews 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not all the CMS forms for IM, but it's like a good amount of the material. But like you should be doing cardio, pulm, renal, gastro, heme. You're gonna do all those PDFs, like the same as like step 1 students. They're mixed step 1, step 2. Like IM is very, very broad. So you gotta like cover a lot of material for that. Like those subject PDFs I just mentioned, those are like tons of IM in there. Moad Suede, what do you think about students taking methylphenidate for their prep? I mean, some people get ADHD, right? I have like loads of students who are taking, Ritalin, Adderall, stuff like that. It's like caffeine, It's you know, it's like more people are under the influence of some sort of chemical than not. Ideally, I wouldn't want people taking that. I don't think it's good to have to take methylphenidate or Adderall. I wouldn't do that. But it's like saying you shouldn't drink caffeine. Well, I fucking drink caffeine, right? So I mean, well, people would say that's not good. You shouldn't drink caffeine either. So it's if you're like highly addicted to like Ritalin or Adderall, continue taking your fucking pills, get through the step 1, and then like go off the pills and feel like shit for like 2 weeks. And maybe you can actually like finally eliminate your dependence on them. Div says, yes, I was constantly refreshing your channel to check if the stream started. That's funny. Amir Rashid, yo doc, thanks for your PDFs and YouTube Q&A. Thanks, Amir. Mohith, hey, how are you? What's going on, Mohith? Saad Razak says, hey, step 1, got 61%. NBME 27 1 month ago, 63%. NBME 31 3 weeks ago, 61, 63, 71, 64, 205, UWSA1. 59% for 120 today is low, too low. I want you just sitting more NBME exams. You're just going to take more NBME exams, get more scores. That's what you got to do. Omar Mohammed, hi Mike. Do you have any plans for creating a general path PDF? I hate that fucking question. It's the number one, like, people asking about the path PDF is the number one thing, like, I don't like. The second is, like, people saying, like, you got to smile more, Michael. Those are, like, the two things that, like, piss me off. The path PDF, like, pisses me off significantly more, though, like, when people ask about that. It's because my PDFs are fucking loaded with path. Like, I literally made, like, I started writing a path PDF, quote unquote, that was like 180 pages, and I like hyped it up. So people started asking me about path PDF, but then I just chopped it up because it was by subject. So I chopped it up. So like cardio, pulm, renal, gastro. I updated all those PDFs with a shitload of fucking path, bro. Go through my fucking PDFs. But a general like histopath, I mean, I could put out like literally a 10-page fucking general path PDF. And like that's all you really need. Like general path, like cell injury, apoptosis, atrophy, metaplasia, dysplasia, all that stuff, like it's really not extensive because my theme is about not wasting your fucking time. And a lot of that stuff is a waste of fucking time. I'd say that's why I've also like not put it out, is because like you can read all this stuff about like, cellular mechanisms, and it's like the effect on actual score augmentation is like minimal. There's just some key concepts, a few key concepts. I will put that out. I just don't fucking feel like it right now. I probably this fall or something, I'll get to it. Like, I will put it out. And like 90% of the reason I'll put it out is to like just so people stop fucking asking me about it. 95% of the reason. Omar Muhammad. I just fucking read that. Saad Razak. I just lost where I was in the chat. Saad Razak. You plan to write 2 more NBMEs July 30th or June 30th. Sarish Kazi. Exams in August. Step 2 CK. Also working full time. What's the least amount of time I should take off from work? Well, if you're studying for 2CK, it's a full time job. So you can't divide 100 by 2 and get 100. You can't do a full time job while you're studying for CK. So you have to just maximize your CK study. You have to get the highest score possible. I wouldn't work right now full time. If it's literally like, you got kids or you can't, live in your fucking apartment unless you're working right now, then you can continue working. But I would really not work while you're studying for the exam. Part-time job, maybe a little bit, but not a full-time job. Mohit B, hey Mike, I'm going for surgery. Where should I apply? The USA, Canada, or should I write AMC and go to Australia, or write PLAB for the UK, etc.? How about you just apply to wherever the fuck you want to go? I would if you're already a postgrad, truthfully, I would just go to like I said, the US is streamlined, but do you want to live in the US with all their fucking guns? Like, why would you want to live in the United States with all their fucking guns? The UK, that'd be cool. I'd rather live in the UK over the US, truthfully. But that's just me. Better beer, better. I don't know. I feel like people in the UK have like an energy. Taha Yunus, second year med student here. Advice for micro, please. Mihail Dern PDF is loaded with micro. Guys, if you're new to my live stream, please give the video a like and please subscribe to my channel. If you're in here and you're not subscribed to my channel, you're a fucking asshole. Micro. So high yield Durham PDF is loaded with micro. And then I've got micro PowerPoint presentations on my YouTube. Okay, so not just the YouTube micro MCQs for my audio QBank, the questions I put out, but I've literally got like 45-minute PowerPoints. Holy shit. Okay, I have like micro 45 minutes. Probably didn't know that, some of you. What are my thoughts on active recall? I don't know what your question is. What do you mean, what are my thoughts on active recall? With regard to what? Cheese eggs. Marcos Rocha, thanks again for the super chat. I acknowledged it earlier, but I just encountered it here in the chat. Abin Shah, hey Mike, I have 4 months to take step 1 and step 2 back to back. I finished UWorld for step 2 throughout the rotation, but I have not done UWorld for step 1 yet. Any tips? If you only have 4 months to take step 1 and 2 back to back, you finish step 1, you finish UWorld for step 2 throughout the rotation year. I have not done. It's not ideal because you want to apply to the match this year. That's why. You got to fucking knock out the step 1 NBMEs like ASAP. That's what I would do. Pass fucking step 1, and then you got to fucking spend all your time on 2CK right now. If you only have 4 months, that's what you got to do. You got to fucking pass step 1, get that shit fucking finished. And then you got to start studying 2CK like hardcore. Do all the CMS forms. It's going to take you 7 weeks. So this is actually a plan for you. You're going to spend a month going through all the NBMEs for step 1. You're going to get fucking step 1 done. You're going to spend about 7 weeks going through all the CMS forms twice for 2CK. And you're going to do obviously all the NBMEs 6 through 14 and free 120 for 2CK. So you could be done with both exams within 4 months that way. But you've got to get through all the CMS forms twice. Mustafa, that's like I have to have some balance in terms of like how certain questions that I answer here. Like I can't read that question aloud on this platform. But I'll respond to it, which is I don't think that if a girl smokes, like if a girl smokes, that's like a deal breaker for me. I don't like that. Like I won't if I see an attractive girl, I won't say hi to her if she's smoking. I don't like that. Is it guaranteed to transfer carcinogens to the next generation? That's funny. I mean, doesn't like everyone in fucking Turkey smoke? Isn't that like the big thing? Yeah, like I wouldn't that's like the number one thing like I that would be a turnoff is like smoking. Green and gray ZP. Random semi dumb question. Bought tickets to see Foo Fighters and it's a month before my exam. Should I sell the ticket or go? I would definitely go. Like clearly. Like and you knew I was gonna say like go. No man, you should sell your ticket. Don't go see the Foo Fighters. You should just study for USMLE. Sit in your room and do like an extra 2 hours of farm and don't go to the Foo Fighters concert. Man, don't go. Um, that'd be sweet. Foo Fighters. How old are they now? They must be like fucking like in their 50s or 60s or something. Foo Fighters, they're still fucking playing. I mean, I'm 36. That was like when I was in like high school. Like they were on like MTV and stuff. I saw Green Day when I saw Chili Peppers live in high school. I saw Green Day live, college. Dave Matthews Band, Santana. I saw Sugar Ray live in Boston. I don't know if anyone knows Sugar Ray. Where's my AP? Asked Gentian. I'm wearing my AP. Which one? Well, I've got more than one. Universe Boss. Ignore the salty haters, Melman. You spelled my name wrong, Universe Boss. I don't really give a fuck about salty haters. I don't. That's never going to go away. That's going to continue at an increased level. I've said that as you grow in influence, that only increases. You have to, that's like, and I'm not big, but people who have influence, you have to be able to handle people talking a lot of fucking shit and where you can't respond. That's what it is. People say a lot of fucking shit. I get hate all the fucking time. People say a lot of fucking shit. People criticize my appearance daily. There's a lot of fucking shit you got to deal with. And as I said, you got to deal with people having big fucking mouths, saying a lot of fucking negativity, you know, on forums and stuff like that, where you're not able to respond. You got to handle it, that's what comes with growing influence. And anyone who actually has a high level of influence, like they just know that that's what it entails. That's like, it doesn't phase me. I mean, and reciprocally, if someone says something positive, it doesn't affect me either. Like when people say things positive, like you're the goat or whatever, it affects me zero. Because you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like I just basically feel nothing with regard to like everything people say, positive or negative. Guys, give the video a like, says Universe Boss. I appreciate it, Universe Boss. Yeah, if you're in this live stream, give the video a like and sub to the channel. Otherwise, you're a pretty shitty person if you're not subbed to my channel. AJ says, thank you, Mike, for all the free stuff you do for us. Grateful. Ali H says, when is it time to actually do UWorld self-assessments for step 2? There are 2 of them. I've said don't do the UVSAs. I said you don't have to do those. Time and place to do them is like when you've exhausted all the NBME exams. Then you can do. Like someone, for example, has taken step 1 and they failed, and then they come to me and they say, I've already done 20 through 31 and free 120. What should I do now to assess myself? Well, you're going to do all that stuff again, but what additional form unused could I look at? And the answer could be NBME 19, NBME 18 offline, could be World Self-Assessment 1 or 2, right? So occasionally, those will be integrated, but it's not typical. Mohammed, yeah, I started in my second pass because I felt I forgot so many things. Is this normal? Thanks again. I've said like the process of remembering, forgetting. That's like absolutely normal, and that's expected. No matter how high you're scoring, you're always going to feel that way. You're always going to feel like you're not remembering enough. Being a sieve is normal, where you just leak information. Javed Imran says, a lot of time needed, 5 questions per hour for me to annotate UWorld's missing information in first aid. Massively cuck. Do you recommend annotate UWorld in first aid or just read UWorld without massively cuck, Javed? First aid era is over, and I've also said that you don't need to annotate from UWorld. I've said that repeatedly. You don't need to annotate into my PDFs. I don't need you annotating. I'm okay with you not annotating. I just want you to read the explanations from UWorld. But the F8 era is over. Sabrina. Hi, Dr. Mike. I'm 30% through my UWorld. My exam is August 28th. What's the best way to go through studying for Step 2 CK? If your exam is August 28th, you're 2 months out, and you're only 30% through your UWorld, you need to postpone. Because you need until the end of July. If you race through fucking UWorld for Step 2, you could sit. If you race through UWorld for Step 2, you can finish it maybe end of July, and then you're going to need another 9 weeks. August, September, maybe late September, the very fucking earliest. I want you sitting. That's only an extra month, right? I want you getting through all the CMS forms twice. I want you getting through MBME's 9, well, obviously 9 through 14, but I want you getting through 6 through 14 and free 120. You got to finish fucking UWorld. If you don't finish UWorld, you're just like shortchanging yourself. You get a lower score than you should on the exam, and what are you doing? Noheath B says, oh, South Korea. Well, I love South Korea. I've been there like 7 times. But to live there, as I've already said, like repeatedly, like they have the lowest fucking birth rate. They've got issues. That's a problem. I don't want to like go off on that, but that's a problem. Marina Abul Saad. Hi, Dr. Mike. Which type CD4? CD8 in acute chronic graft versus host disease, all this stuff. Well, you should look at my immuno PDF. I talk about all that stuff in there. I have like a whole section on graft rejection. I've got that in there. Right? The immuno PDF is fucking amazing, the one I put out. Just look at that. Show up. Hey, Mike. Let's go on and show up. Mohammed Fayyad. What do you think of UWorld Anki deck in my final pass? Waste of fucking time. Taha. Just finished first pass UWorld for Step 2. Should I go through the CMS? The answer is yes. Or the incorrects first? No. I just want you going straight to CMS. Show up. Hello, Mike. I am currently a final year med student in Pakistan. I plan to take my Step 1 in October. Currently getting 60% in blocks, tutor mode. Till when should I ideally be done with? Question bank. You plan to take your exam in October. You said you're currently getting 60% in tutor mode. How fucking far are you through the Q bank right now? You didn't even tell me. Like, are you 20% done? How far are you done? As soon as you finish UWorld, you're just, all you have to do is spend another month going through 20 through 24, free 120, and then 25, 31. And as long as you get 205, 210 plus equivalent, you're ready to sit. You don't need to, it doesn't have to be October. That's like too much time. Unless you literally haven't fucking started, like question bank, like you just started it and you're going really slow. Green and gray, ZP. The tea is better in Japan. I've had like 4 teas today. I had a matcha, I put that in my IG story. I had a matcha. And then I had like three kochas. Kocha is black tea. Um, you said tea is better in Japan. You lived in South Korea. You weren't impressed with the tea. Plus, all supermarkets smell like kimchi and seafood. It's true. I mean, but they have good seafood in South Korea. You went to like actually like the fish markets. Yeah. Um, I like chanja and I like kankoku miso. I like South Korean miso paste. It's really fucking good. I prefer Korean food. I prefer um, I mean, there's a lot I prefer about Korea, except for its low fucking dumb birth rate. I think that's stupid. People act like so like nonplussed or like confused about like why the birth rate is low. It's like look at your fucking country and like what you're doing. You know, um, it's like too much abortion and Plan B and like there's a lot of low IQ moves. I've said I'm pro life. I've said that. Green and Gray ZP. The I just fucking read that. Giovanni, I'm almost done with Amboss and I have like a 55% average and sitting at 45th percentile. I'm scared. LOL. WTF. Goram Gerg. How do I make your PDF stick? I'm halfway through first aid. Gonna start UWorld. Is step one doable in the next 3 months? How so? Try going through my PDFs. Have you tried my PDFs? How do I make your PDF stick? I don't think you've gone through my PDFs. You gotta just fucking read them. You gotta just read. That's what you gotta do. I don't want you making Anki. I don't want you annotating. Just fucking read my PDFs. Try to make it stick. Try. What do you do when you read like a book or something? How do you make it stick? I mean, you gotta just try, right? Preston. Hi, Doc. Which do you prefer to work with? NPs or PAs? I don't even know how to like respond to that question. I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know what the fuck, like, physician assistant, like, nurse practitioner. What the fuck are you asking me right now? Mohith B, you're awesome, bro. 100. Danny Tumajan. Past step one, what a relief. Now I'm starting rotations with your crying emoji and you wrote scared. Let's not whine. I really don't like fucking dudes who like whine like that. In terms of like obviously any male that's like in my orbit in terms of like a friend or like, you know, if I happen to teach a dude and he's like whining, hate that shit. As a dude, you have to be like, um, you know, you can't be emotional about things. Danny Toomjohn, do you have internal medicine PDF? I've said internal medicine is my high yield reviews 1, 2, 3, 4. You can go through those, but also cardiopulmonary, gastro, hematology, high yield derm. It's all fucking internal medicine. I mean, there's so much overlap. All my PDFs. Sophia, does a fail in step one automatically mean you cannot match into competitive specialties? Doesn't automatically mean that. Or can you retake it and still have a chance? Uh, it just severely, you can't have entitlement. If you fail step one, you can't have entitlement. AP Sans, I see your $10 super chat. I really appreciate it. I'll address your giant fucking yellow rectangle in a moment. I just wanted to address Sophia's question. I'll scroll back up to Sophia, but thank you, AP Sans. I appreciate your super chat. After Sophia, AP Sans, I'm going to scroll down your question. Does a fall in step one automatically mean you cannot match? Okay, so the thing is, you can't be entitled in the sense that you have to apply broadly if you fail. Apply in not just fucking like New York or something. Or California. You gotta apply to fucking like, I don't know, Arkansas, right? Montana. I think it'd be better to be there anyway. I mean, But the point is, you can't be entitled, and you have to apply in the preliminary and transitional years. Now I'm going to answer your. Thank you for your super chat, AP Sons. I appreciate the $10. I'm going to read your question. Thank you for sharing your wisdom for free. You're the best. Your question. You're sitting July 27th, okay, in a month. What's better, 32 CMS forms times 2? There's like 45 to 50. Or should I prioritize completing every form one time and repeat as many as I can? Oh, okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay. So you're just saying get through it. I would say just you're gonna go through mm, it doesn't fucking matter, okay? I would get through all the forms, all the main subject domains. Um, I would do all the forms once, and then I would do yes, just repeat like the internal medicine, the surgery, and the FM. That's what I would do. This must be a troll right now. KG, is that really $100? You just did a fucking super chat? That must be a fucking troll. KG, you gotta fucking ask like a question. You know, if you super chat me $100, you gotta like write a question. If you can write a question. I'll scroll down later. I'll scroll down. I'll check back in a moment. You know, it doesn't have to be instant if you have a question or something. But I'll scroll down and address it because that's like if you're gonna super chat me not $10, but you're gonna super chat me $100, there's sort of like a paralysis with that. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta it's a lot to fucking super chat somebody. So I'm gonna go back up where I was answering Sophia. Andrej, where do I start for step 2? You're gonna do UWorld or Amboss. You're gonna choose one of them, and then you're going to once you finish Amboss or UWorld, Andrej, you're literally going to do that 40 questions per day, and then that's the morning. You have lunch in the afternoon. You can titrate up to 80 questions. You're going to go through my high yield PDFs, my YouTube MCQs. UWorld's fucking long, 4,100 questions. Amboss 3,700. So some days you can titrate up to 80, but I want you getting through my high yield PDFs, my YouTube MCQ playlists. And then the fourth, so that's 3 so far as a tetrad. So number 1, QBank. Number 2, my PDFs. Number 3, my YouTube MCQs. Number 4, it's going to be all the CMS material. So when you finish QBank, you're going to do 3 to 3.5 weeks, all the clinical mastery series forms, 2 per day. So like 45, 50 forms. Then you're going to do NBME 6 through 8. Then you're going to do a double pass of all the CMS forms. Holy shit. Then you're going to do free 120, then 9 through 14. KG, you didn't ask a question. You just super chat me $100. I mean, what do you say when someone does that? You say like, thanks? Like, well, how do you respond to that? Like I responded more like enthusiastically when someone sent me like $10 because it was like, you know, but I really fucking appreciate it, KG. It's noted. It's in the memory. It's noted that you did that. Let me see, where was I? Ali H. Under ideal conditions. Is it weird that like when I read Ali H under ideal conditions, the first thing that goes through my mind is like the submersible? That's fucking weird, right? That's just like weird. If there were no school pressures, and then literally, like no pun intended, literally, I didn't even see you fucking write that. If there were no school pressures for graduation, what NBME score would be good for a step 2 CK prep? Not just pass, like an aim for 230. Well, the NBMEs I don't know what you're fucking asking, LEH, because you're asking what NBME score would be good for if your aim is 230. Well, the answer would be fucking 230 on the NBMEs, right? I mean, am I missing something? It's like saying what percentage would be good if I'm shooting for 80%. It's called you shoot for fucking 80%. You said a person with a 210. Okay, I understand. Finally, you say a person with a 210 on step 1 won't do well in step 2 as well, right? So you're asking what should you be shooting for in the NBMEs for step 1, ultimately get a 230 on step 2. I wouldn't fucking obsess. I've said don't shortchange step one. I've said that. Don't shortchange step one. Prep for step one as well as you can. Um, yeah, you're gonna prep for step one as well as you can. I don't want you curtailing QBank. I want you going through all of UWorld or Amboss for step one. I want you doing that. You're gonna go through all the NBME exams. As long as you're passing, I don't give a fuck what your score is on step one. And then step two is a whole new ball game in terms of, you're obviously gonna go through all of Amboss or UWorld. You're gonna do all the CMS forms twice, all the NBMEs, 320. So you're gonna have so much to prepare for step two that like it doesn't. As long as you pass step one, I don't really give a fuck. But just don't shortchange UWorld. That's the key point. Do all of QBank for step one. RK, thank you for your $10 super chat. I really fucking appreciate it. I'm going to read your super chat. For step 2 CK, I know you mentioned NBME forms 6 through 13 and free 120 as CMS forms. Well, there's 6 through 14 now, are RK. How many CMS forms do you recommend per subject? Do you think 2 out of 7 shelf subjects will be sufficient? How many CMS forms do I recommend per subject? Do I think 2 out of 7 shelf subjects will be? You're going to do all the shelf subjects. I don't understand. You're not going to pick and choose. You're going to do all the CMS forms in all the subjects: internal medicine, surgery, peds, obs, gyn, neuro, psych, emergency, family. You're going to do all of them. And then once you've gone through all of them, if you're rushed for time, I think as AP Sans may have asked her before, someone just fucking asked. My memory is that, yeah, it was AP Sans who asked before. The internal medicine are the most important. Internal medicine, surgery are most important, and family medicine. So, but you're going to do 2 CMS forms per day, RK. That's what you're going to do. 2 CMS forms per day. And you can finish all of them in 3 to 3.5 weeks because there's 45 to 50-ish forms. The reason I give that range, I don't just say 50, for example, is because, some of the offline ones, like back to form one, some of them can be difficult to find. And sometimes students like message me saying, oh, I can't find X form. It's like not in the group or something. And then my response is like, look, as long as you do like at least like 45, I don't really give a fuck. But don't have it be where you get through like 30 forms. Like it should be like at least like 45-ish forms that you get through. Right? And you're going to do them all twice. So with your post-grad, as I said, QBank, first pass the CMS, 6 through 8 NBMEs, double pass the CMS, free 120, 9 through 14. If you're on rotations, you're going to do the UWorld or Amboss questions for that rotation. Then you're going to do, obviously, my PDFs, my YouTube MCQs, but you're going to do all the CMS forms for that rotation twice prior to the shelf, and you'll get high pass honors. Thanks again, KG, for your $100 super chat. Thanks, RK, for the $10 super chat. And AP Sans for the AP Sans. RK eclipsed you by a cent. Where was I gotta scroll back up. Diana Mary Brito Herrera. Hi, Mike. I've been scoring 210 to 230 in the NBMEs, but I had a drop on NBME 30 to 204 yesterday, and I'm anxious because my exam's in 10 days. Should I postpone? I still have 31 available. You're just going to sit 31. I'm not concerned. The reason I'm not concerned is because you didn't drop. What happened is it was random. That's how the real USMLE can be. Is like, had you sat NBME 30 first, coincidentally, as in like 2 weeks ago, if you sat NBME 30, maybe you would have had a 204 on it then, or a 202 or something. And then you sit the other ones that you scored higher on, you sit those later, and then the illusion is, oh wow, you went up to 230. Holy shit. So when students think they dropped, it's not the case. You didn't drop on the NBMEs. It was just random order. But here's an important point for you guys watching this. And if you haven't liked my, like the video here, por favor, and sub to the channel if you haven't already. But it's important for you guys watching this that, if you have a low NBME, if you dip to that level, recognize that that's possible on your real deal. Okay, like obviously you said, Diana Mary, that your NBMEs are between 210, 230, and you had one outlier that was like a 204. It's possible. Okay, it's possible. So if you get like a 207, don't be depressed. I'm not trying to be fucking pessimistic or negative. I'm just saying that like these things are possible. Um, so you want to go into your real deal, like, hoping for an average of your NBMEs, and don't be shocked if you were to get like a 207 or something. Um, you're going to set NBME 31. That's what you're going to do. And you're going to, your final 10 days, I would say the day before, I want to be a light day for you, Diana Mary. 2 days out, I want to be biostats review, and also it can be a custom day as well. But days, um, yeah, I would just get 31 out of the way now, because I would get 31 out of the way now. And I think that will just give you reassurance. You're going to do well on it. And then you take 2 days to review it. And then you're just going to spend your remaining time up until 2 days out. You're just going to spend those like 4-ish, 5-ish days or whatever, or 6-ish days. You're just going to um, just cram NBME review, all the forms you've already sat. That's all you're going to do. That's easy. I think you'll be fine. Right? I'm talking about numerically, like as if you're going to get a numerical score. You're not going to get a fucking numerical score. Clearly, you're going to pass. I mean, clearly. But like, if it's step 2, right? If it's step 2, just be aware that the range of your scores is truly possible for you on the real deal. Flozo, isn't Ritalin literally an amphetamine? I mean, what's your question? I mean, did I say it's not? Like, I don't understand. Right? It increases presynaptic release of neurotransmitter. Like, right? Like, what are we asking right now? Like, I don't understand. Haneen Nabil, how can I memorize micro from FA? I mean, it's a cuck question, right? Because you're going to do my high yield derm PDF, which is micro. You're going to do my MCQs, my micro PowerPoint on the fuck am I saying right now? You're going to do my YouTube MCQs, the audio Q bank. You're going to do my PowerPoints, right? I've got a playlist of micro PowerPoints on my YouTube. You're going to do those. They're like 45-minute PowerPoint presentations. So I want you to do those. That's how you're going to memorize micro. The micro in FA is superfluous. A lot of nonsense in there. Like 90% of it is nonsense. It's not a numerical step 1 anymore. Like, you don't need to know that Shigella spreads cell to cell via actin polymerization. Okay? Like, you don't need to know nonsense like that. Right? Or like, diphtheria has like metachromatic granules. Like, absolute garbage, nonsense. Ali H. Guys, please like the video. Thanks, Ali H. Storyteller, I finished a preview of all subjects. Did about 65% of UWorld and 60% correct. I'm going through your PDFs now. Okay. Was there a question? There was no question. You just tell me what you're doing. Jelly Singh, how do you balance content review and questions? Please help. I've answered this like 174 times since I started doing my live streams. You're going to do 40 questions in the morning. That's what you're going to do. Okay, so 40 questions. Then you're going to do lunchtime. Then you're going to do my PDFs and my YouTube MCQs in the afternoon/evening. And if you have like a day where you're like ADHDing the fuck out and you don't want to read my PDFs, right? Like, you don't want to do my YouTube, then you can titrate up to 80 questions. But you're always going to do questions daily, but it's your afternoon evening phase of the day, right? That's when you're going to do the PDFs. And I've said you can turn the afternoon evenings into subject specific prep, quote unquote. In other words, The morning's going to be your untimed tutor random for question bank, always. You take lunch, but you say, well, as you're going through the Q bank at untimed tutor random, you're thinking to yourself, well, I know jack fucking shit about like heme. I'm getting all the hematology questions wrong or something. Okay. So when you get to the afternoon, you're going to do my hematology PDF. Maybe you read 10 pages of it. And then you do like binge watch my hematology playlist. That's your quote unquote subject specific study. You do that the whole afternoon, or you do that for like the combination of that's like 4 hours. And then you're like, well, okay, maybe I could do another block of 10 questions or something, untimed tutor random. So that day is like you got through 50 questions in good heme. The next day, you do 40 questions in the morning as you should. Afternoon, you say, well, I can just do more questions today. You titrate up to 80, and then you're going to do more heme in the evening or something. So you can get your second phase of the day can be when you fulfill subject specific study by going through a combination of my PDFs and my YouTube playlists. And that also not just for personal remediation if you feel you suck jack fucking shit in a subject, but also if you are studying, if you have a quiz, let's say in school in 2 weeks in like GI, well, you can do like GI study in the afternoon. Okay. If a student's failing, actually like failing school, nothing really in the USMLE, but if occasionally if I have a student who's like trying to just get through first year med school is failing, I could have the student do subject specific questions from QBank, but I prefer not to do that. I prefer a student goes through random untimed tutor. KG, your donation was so fucking large. It's like staying at the top of the chat. Appreciate it. I guess it's time dependent or dollar dependent. If you donate a lot, it like stays at the top of the chat for like fucking ages. Like I was gonna end the chat pretty soon because I'm like caked the fuck out, tired at it's 5:13 a.m. here, but I'm not gonna end the chat yet. I'm gonna answer these questions. Nakia, Mike, in reading your PDFs after completing 40 questions in the first part of the day, do you recommend just picking a single PDF and going through it, or read the PDFs that address incorrects from questions? No, I sort of just addressed that. You can just read whatever the fuck you want. Doesn't have to relate to the questions. No, doesn't. Jay Solo, I'm your biggest fan. Sub Jay. James Bond 1046. Hi, quick question. And then you don't ask your fucking question. Rahula, could you please tell us about your tutoring enrollment? Not really. I mean, like, I'm using this to like not like fucking promote my tutoring, but like to give you guys value and answer your med questions, right? I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Like I don't do fucking like free trials and shit. Some people have like the audacity to be like, "Oh, can you do like a 15-minute like free trial?" It's like, "No." It's not an ego thing. It's like if you need a sense of if you don't like have a sense of who I am as a teacher through my YouTube MCQs or like I mean, like it's not hard to like gain a minimal level of like ascertainment essentially in terms of like someone's potential teaching methods or you know degree of autism or whatever you want to think of it like in terms of just look at their fucking like look at the content I put out. Storyteller Mike has a point. The social culture has dissolved beyond repair in the States. Been living here 45 years. Well, I mean, just like feminism has taken over, right? And people aren't having kids anymore. James Bond 1046. Okay, ask a question now. Been studying for step one and I haven't seen a score increase. Instead, it's decreased. Where's the question? Storyteller, New Zealand, Norway are underrated. I haven't been in Norway. I've been in New Zealand twice. I did a road trip to the South Island, New Zealand. I liked Dunedin at the south tip. Well, not the tip, but very fucking far south in New Zealand, Dunedin. When I was when I did a road trip, I was 24, and it was with two girls from med school. One girl I was like kind of dating at the time, and the other was like her friend. And then so the three of us, we did the road trip for 10 days. South Island, New Zealand. Rented a car, drove around. It was fucking amazing. But like, I really wanted to go to Dunedin because so I would have been in second year at the time, and they were first year. The reason I wanted to go to Dunedin is because when I was in first year med, I did an obs-gyn elective we had a first year elective for 1 month at the end of first year. Okay. And um, there was like a guy who was visiting from Dunedin, like a med student who was visiting from there, and he was just telling me about Dunedin and stuff, and that's how I knew about it. And then when we were driving around the South Island, I was like, I want to go to fucking Dunedin, but it was like way out of the fucking way. It would be like you're doing like a road trip in like the Northeast US or something. Let's say you're driving around the Northeast of the United States, okay, and you're going through let's say you go to I was gonna say high yield destinations, but let's say you're like, we're gonna go to Philly, or we're gonna go to, New York or Boston or something. And then someone you're with on the trip is like, I want to go to fucking Maine, right? Let's go to fucking Maine. And you're like, well, Maine is out of the fucking way. That's kind of like what it was. And so we drove to Dunedin. And what happened was when we got there, literally like that fucking second we arrived, like we parked the car, like we get out, and it was July it was July, and I think it was 2011 or so. And so it was right after there had been a big earthquake in Christchurch. But we get out of the car in Dunedin, and literally we heard drumming, and there was some big winter festival going on in Dunedin that just started that fucking moment we got there. And so we were in this like big winter festival. Yeah, just like people out fucking like it was Halloween or something. And there was like tons of food, lots of music. Uh, we went into some like tavern, and we had beef Wellington and beer, and it was just like cold. It's winter in July in Southern Hemisphere. So Dunedin was fucking awesome. Um, South Island was awesome. And then I did skydiving and bungee jumping in Queenstown, South Island. Medbay, how can you increase points for step 2 CK from 214 to greater than 255? Well, you got to go through fucking QBank, and you got to go through the CMS forms twice. You got to go through my PDFs, my YouTube MCQs. I mean, that's how you're going to do it. Rahul, I want to be your student. Please give me information. I react zero to that. You know why I react zero to statements like that? It's because you know how many fucking tutoring inquiries I get like daily, and then people like, you learn about these things, and like when you have like you do sales or business or anything, is that you get a lot of fucking people who are like, I want to be your student. I want to do tutoring. I want to do it. It's like, okay, buy fucking hours then. Then they don't. It's like, exactly. Shut your fucking mouth. I'm just joking, Rahula. Chill. Relax. Okay. Joking. People who like buy hours, I usually never hear from first. That's how it works for whatever reason. It'll be someone who I've never spoken to before, and then I just like check my email, and then they've like picked up hours, and then I message them for the first time ever. That's usually how it works. That's why like if people just want hours, they buy fucking hours. They don't like have a big fucking mouth about like what they're gonna do. They just fucking do it. Moad Swade says, I remember when I took step 1 on test day, I took like 3 pills of Ritalin, 20 milligrams each, 2 espresso cups, 2 Red Bulls, 10 to 15 cigarettes. I was ready for an extra block after finishing the exam. James Bond, 1046. Hey man, if I don't see an increase in my practice NBMEs, is that just due to content knowledge? I mean, that diagnostically in that regard, like I would ask how you've been reviewing the NBMEs, right? Because I've inculcated that you need to make Anki screenshots of your incorrects and do stacked review as you're going through the NBMEs. It's not just enough to sit them; you have to memorize them. So you have to really know the fucking NBME exams, memorize them. So I would sit down with you and discuss how you've been going through the NBMEs, how you've been reviewing them, what your scores are, because I'd want to know, like, should we even continue with the NBMEs at the moment, or should we back you out to QBank for another month or so? Have you gone through any of my PDFs? Have you done high yield arrows? Have you dabbled in my YouTube MCQs? Right? Tony Montana, where do you live? I live in Osaka. Ali H, Dr. Mehlman, about the women smoking, you are right. Men should have dating preferences just like women. The fuck does that mean, Ali H? I'm just saying I don't like I don't like smoking. I think smoking's low IQ. Like I don't like that. Like if I happen to see an attractive woman where like I could say hi to her, but I see she's like smoking a cigarette, I wouldn't say hi. Diana Mari, Brito Herrera. Hey Mike, I've been scoring 210 to 220 and NBME's 20 through 30, but yesterday my scores, I just fucking read that. You said the same comment earlier. Ali H, Mike, I love Sugar Ray, by the way. Also, when it's over, I miss Mark McGraw. He was a G. I was first row at Sugar Ray. I was 22, and I was living in Boston. And I at the time I was a medical billing assistant. I had graduated med school. What the fuck am I saying? I graduated undergrad, and but I was working as a billing assistant at a genetics lab at the hospital in Boston, and I would take the shuttle bus like to the hospital, and when I took it back home, like I got off and I was just like walking outside. There were like some small music venues, and literally like Sugar Ray was fucking playing, and my one of my housemates and I just decided to go. It's a fucking awesome show. It's an awesome show. Robin Hood, hi Doc. Are you familiar with the match timeline? If you have taken, I have a picture with Sugar Ray as well. I do have a picture of Sugar Ray. Hi Doc, are you familiar with the match timeline? If you have taken step 2 and not OET yet, are there any limitations how many programs you can apply to? I don't think anyone gives a fuck about OET. OET is just for like ECFMG certification. No one gives a fuck about like OET for the actual match. Abdul Moise Vahora, elective versus observership. I don't think it matters. Doesn't mean jack fucking shit. You just get a letter period from someone who's at an institution you want to go to. That's what you need. Someone who has a connection. That's ideal. It doesn't fucking matter. Like it's the connection that's important. It's the connection. So if you can get a letter fucking like doing like a letter recommendation, doing some bullshit elective or bullshit observership, that means nothing, but there's a tie that person has to someone else who works at a program, who's on a committee or something. That matters infinitely more than like you having some meaningful observership, quote unquote, where you learned a lot, but like the connection isn't there. Like it's all about whom you know. It's all your score. It's just your scores. It's going to be basically your step 2 CK score. It's going to be your class rank. Those two are the most important. Then it's going to be if you're applying to like an Ivy League, you got to have research. If you're not applying to an Ivy League, don't fucking worry about it. And it's also whom you know. That's what it is. Research is overrated, though. I shouldn't like emphasize it like that. I'm saying if research would matter if you like, if you know, you're playing to the most competitive of the competitive. And it's not just about number of papers. I've said this. Number doesn't mean jack fucking shit to people who are actually in research. People who actually do real research, they don't give a. They're not impressed by your 24 bullshit fucking papers. Okay, what they'll care more if you have one paper where you're a second author and it's in Cell, or it's in Nature or something, which I mean, it's laughable. We're talking like, hyperbole, but it's like if you were a second author on one paper that's published in Cell, that's worth more than like your 24 bullshit fucking papers that you got at your master's program where your advisor was like easy and like no one gives a fuck. RK for step 2 CK. I know you mentioned NBME 24, 6 through 13, well, 14, free 120 as well as CMS. How many CMS? Well, you already asked the question, but I answered it in your super chat earlier. Oh, I see what happened. Your super chat ran out and then like the color goes away. That's what happened. That's what happened. Because it was a big fucking like, yellow rectangle and then it went away. I guess the time ended on it. That's interesting. It's like the more money you drop, then it highlights it longer for me to see it. Moomal Rose, which NBMEs would you recommend for step 3? Thanks. I said you're going to do NBMEs 6 through 14 and free 120 for 2CK. You're going to do those for step 3 because there's only one NBME for step 3. And you're going to do all the CMS forms for step 3 as well. You're going to do the 1900 questions that are in UWorld for step 3. You're going to do the CCS cases, not UWorld. You're going to do ccscases.com, I believe it is. They're better than UWorld. Guys, give the video a like if you're here. If you just dropped into the live stream, give the video a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Vinay says, "Hey Mike, do you think $2,000 for 1 month observership through agency is worth it? How to get a free observership?" I've said it doesn't fucking matter what you're doing. It's just like whom you know. You have to understand, people are not impressed by you paying money to get some bullshit fucking observership at like MGH, and you're like, I went to Harvard for like 8 weeks to do observership. No one fucking cares. People know how these things work. Yes, you pay to go to like some hospital. The point is to get a letter from someone there. That's the point. But it's hard. It's like you're talking. Be very difficult. Very, very difficult. Be challenging. The point of the observership would just literally to be able to meet people there. That's all it is. I would truthfully, yeah. I mean, like you can follow. Like, what's a good idea is like you research like a particular program director at an institution you want to go to, and you look up like his or her credentials. Like if he or she is giving presentations, going to conferences, you attend those conferences, you meet that person in real life, and that matters. There's still like a 1970s element to real life interaction. If you are that one who goes to that conference and you get a card and you can email and just say, look, I'm that like random fucking person. Maybe you don't remember me, but you email. That's what you do. I used to do stuff like that. I established certain connections, but ultimately I didn't want to go to residency. But I had certain ambitions initially, and I made certain connections. That's what you got to do. I went to conferences and stuff. Roxit Aso Daria. Step 1, I did my first time, made me 20. Offline, am I correct? 36.5%. You got a 36.5% correct, and it made me 20. You say you're very disappointed. Your exam's in August. You're asking if you should postpone. Absolutely. 0% chance you said in August. Don't be like upset. Just be like agnostically. Just say, look, I have got to go through. You're going to go through QBank. You're going to go back to QBank. You're not touching another MBA. If I were to talk to you about QBank, either you haven't done it in a long time, or you haven't had momentum with it. If you've been doing UWorld as an example, like let's say you say, well, no, I've done like 65% of UWorld or something over the past like, this year or whatever. I would just be like, nah, we're just going to switch you over to fucking Amboss or like something fresh, right? I just say you're going to be doing like at least 40 per day. You have to have fucking momentum. You have to have momentum. It's like going to the gym. You can't think that your one fucking Zumba class a week fucking matters. Doesn't do jack fucking shit. You have to like go like 5 days a week, 6 days a week. You have to be consistent with your UWorld questions or your Amboss questions if you want to see augmentation in score. right? You're going to go through my PDFs. If I were to sit with you and say, okay, have you gone through my PDFs? You're like, no. You're like, I looked at high yield arrows. I'm like, did you do it? No. Did you go through my cardio PDF? No. Have you looked at my YouTube MCQs? I've seen some. How many? Not many. Okay. Do those. I mean, it's not fucking dramatic. Like, this is not rocket science. Okay. Abcomnix98. Well, you asked a very explicit question. Kind of too many questions. Ahmed, people say to do Q banks to maximize scores. Thoughts? 2 Q banks. You don't have to do 2 Q banks. I said that. You're gonna do Amboss or UWorld. That's it. You're just gonna do Amboss or UWorld. You know, you don't have to do 2 Q banks. And I think even if you say no, but I want a 280, I want to do 2 Q banks for step 2, I'll do it. Once you finish 1 Q bank, you're not going to want to do fucking 2 Q banks. And the other thing to remember is the CMS forms, which are going to be 2,000 to 2,500 questions because they're 50 questions each and 45, 50 forms, right? So you're doing up around like upwards of 2,500 questions. And I said you're going to do them twice. So you could think of the CMS forms as like NBME Q bank, quote unquote. And you're going to do those all twice. So that's a lot of fucking questions. So you're going to finish UWorld or Amboss. Then you're going to do NBME CMS Q bank, quote unquote, twice. Then you're going to do the NBMEs 6 through 14 for 120. I mean, so that's a lot of fucking questions. So because there's all that, there's copious material, you don't have to do Amboss and UWorld. You're just going to do one. Ali Nadi. Is it normal that there are a lot of questions on NBMEs that I answer correctly while I don't know anything about it? I'm afraid they elevate my score while I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't think it matters. As long as you answer the questions and you get them correct, it doesn't matter because the same thing's going to translate over to your real deal. You'll get questions right in your real deal that you don't know, but you guessed right. That's all that fucking matters, that you're getting them right. Right? That's all that matters. Nisar Ahmad. I'm bored to death. Just started UWorld. Step 2 CK. Finished 1 block in 2 days with some explanation remaining. What should I do for motivation? With some explanation, what should I do for motivation? I've said that like when I went through step 2 UWorld, it was so fucking boring. The only way I got through it was to do blocks of 10. That's why I came up with that strategy for people doing blocks of 10. Okay, so you don't have to be motivated to do the questions. You just have to chop them out and say, you don't really have an alternative. Like you've got to fucking do the questions. So blocks of 10. Okay. And I've made many clips talking about that. Okay. I don't really want to go on 20 minutes about that right now, but you got to chop out Q bank with blocks of 10 if you're really like struggling for motivation. Storyteller. I've gone through each system. Like I said above, problems I forgot, systems I learned in January. I don't want to go through familiar stuff again. Through that stuff again. Is there a better way? Familiar with 95% of material? I don't know what you're asking. I don't know what you're asking, Storyteller. Moogle 900. FA era is over. All right. Reading it is the only effort, if any, I have rendered in expressing my interest in USMLE. Abhinav Mahajan. Abhinav Mahajan. I passed step 1 last week. Thank you for everything you have on YouTube. I watched lots of your videos and read your PDFs. Now it's step 2. When should I aim for taking step 2? You need 4 months after step 1 before you take step 2 at least. Pratik Singh. How to memorize effectively. You just got to fucking read. I don't want you making Anki. I don't want you annotating. I want you just reading. You got to just deal with it. Okay, like people feeling like they don't remember enough, that's normal. It's the most common impediment I observe with students is that they feel like they're not remembering enough. and they can't move on, you gotta just fucking handle it, deal with it. B Vita IMD. Starting med school in July. How can I create the best foundation possible for step one during preclinical year? I wouldn't study for step one. Oh, no. You're asking starting med school. Oh, you're starting med school in July. Okay. I wouldn't study for USMLE while you're still a pre-med, but you're starting in July. You're asking during preclinical year. Year three. It's a 3-year curriculum. I'm confused as to what you're asking, but the point is, when you start step one prep, you're gonna just start with QBank straight up. So you can just pick like Amboss or something. Just start with it straight up, and just start right away. Just going through my PDFs and my YouTube MCQs. You have the advantage of being able to go through my YouTube MCQs like from the beginning as well, like really getting through a lot of those questions. People who are coming in late, they have their exam in like a few. They just discover me, and they've got their exam in like a few months or something. Like maybe they don't get through like all the questions, right? That's what it is. You can get through like more of my YouTube MCQs. AP Sans, I read your super chat earlier. Thanks again. Shoaib, Ashkar, Mike, I'm 10% through UWeb with 60% correct. Okay. Green and Gray ZP, I have a ticket to see Red Hot Chili Peppers when they visit Chicago because they're still amazing live and it's further away from the test date. FYI, Depeche Mode is back touring too. You're 31. Depeche Mode's fucking awesome. Depeche Mode is still fucking playing. Are you fucking kidding me? They're like, yeah, dude, they're like even older than the Chili Peppers. They're like Depeche Mode. Depeche Mode. That like lead singer is so fucking nerdy, but he's like good. Yeah. I did not know Depeche Mode was still playing live. That's fucked. That's cool though. I would see Depeche Mode. I'd prefer to see Depeche Mode over Red Hot Chili Peppers because, as I told you, I saw Red Hot Chili Peppers when I was in high school. I was like 16 when I saw them live. That was the first concert I went to, Red Hot Chili Peppers, I think. And I went to like a lot of Dave Matthews Band concerts when I was in high school because I lived near Saratoga and he used to come to SPAC, Saratoga Performing Arts Center. He used to play there quite a bit. It's funny because when you're in high school, like you either can't afford a ticket, like we hopped the fence at like one point, or you pay like, I don't know, fucking like, $20, whatever it is. Now I'd just be like, boom, I'm gonna be front center. I'll pay that. It's not a big deal. AP Sans, my pleasure. Teddy, how many full-length NBMEs for step 2, including the PDS? I said 60-14. How many of those you suggest? All of them, 60-14. Teddy. KG, thanks again for your $100 super chat. AP Sans, $2. New super chat. Love when you talk about how little research matters. It doesn't fucking matter, like most of it. It's a lot of it's anecdotal as well. It's anecdotal. I don't just like make up this shit like out of nowhere. Like there's anecdotes. Like I've had students before with like a shitload of fucking like an obnoxious amount of research. Like, do you know how many students I've fucking had like in the past like decade plus? You know how many fucking students I've had? And I've had students with like obnoxious amounts of research where it hasn't helped them. Okay. Like I had a student with like good scores. Like they weren't bad. They weren't like crazy. They weren't hot. Like I had a student who was like with an obnoxious amount of fucking research in a certain area and like didn't match. But with like the scores needed to be higher, but the research was like on spot. The research was like 11 out of 10, like 50 fucking articles, like all these like high impact things. And then like the scores were like okay, but not great. And I knew the scores weren't like high enough. I'm like, it's not packing the punch quite, but they're not bad. And like the student didn't fucking match into the competitive specialty. And I'm like, it's all fucking numbers. I'm like, it has to be just numbers because like that was it. I said rather than like a mid 240s and a high 250s, if you had like, a mid 250s and a high 260s, that's all they fucking care about. You know, anecdotal, but I mean, like, I've seen it before. It's just like, I've seen it before. That's why I say like nothing overrides a shitty 2CK because if you're trying to be competitive, I've said you can just pass alone. You can get a 217, match an IM, FM, PEDS, obs gyne, psych, no problem. But you're not going to fucking match in a derm, okay, with like a 240. You're not. Okay. And like you gotta, or you can do a prelim year, transitional year, get research, maybe, say get research laughable. I don't mean it like that. I mean like get an observership with someone at like let's say in derm, like do some sort of project with someone in derm at that institution where you're doing a prelim year. And then it's that letter, it's that connection that matters. It's not the research itself. The research is actually secondary and ostensible. It's that connection with the person in derm at that institution while you're doing your intern, your prelim slash transitional year. And then you apply for the next cycle, categorical, where that person at the institution fucking knows you. That's what could help. Scroll back up. AP Sans, you're saying a lot of stuff. You said I should be making AP Sans. You said I should be making $1,000 every one of these. To be honest, no, I shouldn't. No, I shouldn't. Mohammed Fayed says, I'm thinking of going to the US as a research fellow after passing step one, hopefully. Do you think I'm going to be able to study 2CK while doing full time research? No. I don't think you should be studying. I don't think you should be doing anything apart from studying for 2CK prior to studying 2CK. It's a full time job studying for CK. It's the most important part of your application, not your bullshit fucking research. Pragya saying, would you be able to answer questions about CBSE prep? Absolutely. It's like I have tons of CBSE students. I've like, I made a video, an excellent fucking video, maybe like a month ago on like how to pass CBSE comp. It was like the worst performing. It was like one of the worst performing videos I put on YouTube because it's very niche, right? Like you guys watching this right now, like if there's like, if I were to put out a video tomorrow saying like how to study for step 3, you guys aren't going to watch it because you're not fucking studying for step 3. So it's like comp is like CBSE is niche. So it's like there's many people like, yeah, Caribbean schools, etc. that sit CBSE comp, absolutely. But many people don't even know what that is or they're not doing that. It doesn't relate to them. They're not going to fucking watch it. Terrible, terrible performing video. But it's fucking excellent video. Fucking brilliant fucking advice coming from me. It's fucking excellent. Terrible fucking performing video. Muiz said, hello, is there a specific sequence to approach UWorld for step 2CK? I've said UWorld you're going to do untimed tutor random. Dr. Prithvi, Basu Roy. Hi, sir. Everyone is saying step 2CK is vague and difficult, but you say it's doable and easy. When did I ever fucking say it's like easy? I've never fucking said that once. You say I'm so scared. Please give your point of view. I've said CK is hard. I've said CK is way harder than step 1. So that's like a hallucination as far as like anything I've ever fucking said. Like it's doable in the sense that like, yeah, anyone can like, you can do it if you study for it, but I've never said CK is easy. CK is way harder than step 1. Questions are longer. The questions are like way more information, more integrated with deeper concepts. I'd say rather than just like whining about things, just study, right? Like, why is there like some sort of like, you'll be fine, just study. Progress thing. I get distracted kind of easily, but what stone is your bracelet made of? This? I'm not sure actually. I'm not sure. This bracelet was a gift actually. Let me see. I get distracted. I get distracted kind of easily. I just fucking read that. Asana Seif, your PDFs are lengthy, but this is the only effective way I learn things. First aid is very volatile. I read it 3 times, but don't get things. Ashley Dawson. What does this new pool? Your name sounds familiar. What does this new pool of questions mean? Step 2 CK, delay of score report. Does this make a difference in scoring during this month also? Thoughts on maybe 13, 14 things. I haven't had any, none of my students have sat maybe 14 yet. It will be very soon though. Very, very soon. I'm going to have some students at 14. I don't think there's going to be anything dramatic. It's just another fucking NBME, same as 13. Delay of score reporting. I mean, you got to be mindful. Like sometimes they make USMLE makes announcements as far as like if you sit past a certain time point, yes, then you're not going to get your score until X date. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it makes a difference in terms of your actual score. No, it doesn't. That doesn't affect it whatsoever. No, no, it doesn't mean anything. Guys, give the video a like. I really appreciate it. And also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you're in this live stream and you haven't subscribed, you're a pretty shitty person. I'm joking. Chill. All right. Just relax. Let's not get salty. Shane Gremery. Class rank for non-USIMGs 2? Question mark. I mean, they're going to look at your 2CK score and they're going to look at class rank. Those are like the numbers. Those are the things they look at. It sucks, you know what I mean? Because sometimes people are good at one, but they're not good at the other. Right? You know, there's some people who it's like you can do well on the USMLE. That's your way out. It sucks that they made step 1 pass fail because you could get a high score on the USMLE, even though you're like average in med school. That was like, you know, the way to shine through, right? It levels the playing field. You know, and then they eliminated it, made it fucking pass fail, which I think was a terrible fucking decision. But now you got step 2, and it's like, well, it's only one chance, not 2 chances to get a standardized score. So you get your like 260 or whatever. It's solid, but then you're average in med school, which, you know, it's annoying. It's just how it fucking works, you know. When you're within the system, when you're in the system, that's whether you like it or not, you got to play by the fucking rules. And like sometimes you can be unconventional and like maybe you get like your 274, but then you're like, you know, middle of your class or something. But you can, if you can get a big fucking score, you know, that can help override some. You have to really get a big score though, you know. Anonymous medical student, that's your name. You say I just skipped over. Yeah, I don't know. You say I've been working on projects that are self-directed but solid projects. I got a scholarship for one of them. Is this a factor they consider too? The self-direction initiative factor? They don't give a fuck. I'm being dead serious now. They don't give a fuck. I'm not. This isn't like parody shit. Okay, this isn't like hyperbolic. I'm being dead fucking serious when I say like you literally could have spent like $200,000 of your own fucking money, no one else's, your money, set up a fucking like tent in fucking like you know, Central African Republic, and then you like helped people you know, with malaria or like, you know, um some illness, worked in Africa for a fucking year or something, right? Ebola. And They don't give a fuck. If it's like if you literally like if you had like a 240 and that's like your background with like you went to like, you know, the Congo and you did that, they don't care. They'll just take the person who had 260. Quadruple two. Do you think it would be better to do 40 questions very thoroughly or 120 questions more quickly? I've said don't do more than 80 questions. You're never going to do more than 80 questions in in cubing. So you're going to do 40 questions, 40 to 80. So if it's one of those two, I'd say 40 very thoroughly in the morning. Then you're going to take lunch, and then you're going to do my PDFs and my YouTube MCQs in the afternoon/evening. And then if you want to do more questions, though, you can titrate upwards to 80. Maybe you want to do 60, but you got to get through my PDFs, YouTube MCQs, right? Never more than 80, because then it just means you're not reading. Like I'd rather have you get through 40 to 80 and not finish a Q bank than to get through 120 where you know you're knocking out the Q bank, but I know you're not reading. It becomes a race rather than actually like, 40 to 80. Storyteller, the medical elective and observership ecosystem is the wild, wild west. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry doctor is dispensing those rotations like Pez. It's a legalized IMG rape. Well, you're in fucking control of what you're doing. It's not IMG rape, I mean, but I know what you mean. You're trying to get a letter from a U.S. institution. That's what it is. Becomes yeah, becomes lucrative for them. Faz, how many IMGs go about asking for a letter without looking like they're just there to get a letter? Well, I've talked about getting a letter. Like what? It's obvious you're going to try to get in with someone who, has a relation to someone else that is on like is a committee member or program director. But I've talked about when you're on a team, you don't want to fucking bug the attending too much. You want to just be a good team player and then just focus on helping the intern. That's your job. Help the intern. Do everything you can to make the intern's job easier. And that gets relayed up the food chain. Okay. Like the attending doesn't want you to fucking like follow them around. They're just going to eyeball and be like, is the fucking med student who's visiting, are they doing their job to help the intern? And is the intern's life easier? And then in turn, the intern's life easier, that gets relayed to the registrar, it gets relayed to me. If you're helping the intern, you're doing a good job, it'll get known. It'll work its way up the food chain. That's what you got to do. That's how you, quote unquote, impress. No amount of knowledge you have is going to impress the fucking attending. It's like you memorize some factoid for the first time for USMLE that you think is like special, but it's like, it's not special. It's like common knowledge. It's just, Z, just learned about your YouTube channel, have examined 4 weeks and done 60% UWorld, 20 NBME's 22 to 23 with plus or minus 75 mistakes. What would you recommend for the last 4 weeks? PDFs, YouTube. You asked way too many fucking questions, Z. I've said the final month should just be like NBMEs. Shruti, after doing how much of UWorld can I start doing NBMEs? I want you to finish UWorld, Shruti. Then you can do the NBMEs. Eric Sosa, hello from Brazil. USP Medical School in Sao Paulo. What's up, Eric? Mimi, good to see you. Good to see you back. Mimi NKA. Mike, glad to catch the live. Thanks for all you do. Good to see you, Mimi. I mean, you have one of those names I remember because I think I mentioned it yesterday. I saw you yesterday or 2 days ago. I said Mimi is ear in Japanese. Dashon Singh Z says, how to increase general principles on NBME forms. I'd say my speculation is that general principles refers to diagnostic prowess in the sense that diagnostic prowess and pathophysiology, meaning like you get a question, it's fucking Duchenne, and then they can ask you anything about it. That's general principles. cytoskeleton, right? X-linked recessive. Like they can ask you any detail about it, you know, pathophys, general principles. I think it's probably a coalescence of many subject areas. People ask that. They're like, what do you think general principles refers to? That's what I think it refers to. Pragya Singh, my question for CBSC is that I am so close to passing, but I am at a loss for motivation right now and worn out. In addition to going through your PDFs, what should I do? I test in a month, thanks. Well, I fucking said the NBMEs. You know, I'd have to sit with you to discuss your specific plan, but I said that the NBMEs is what you're going to be doing. You know, you gotta go through high yield arrows as well. Praga, you say, haha, I'm sending the video about passing CBSC to everyone I know, haha. It's a good fucking video. I literally made it like a month ago, and it was like one of the worst performing videos on my channel. Like I got no new subs through that video. Like I can look at the analytics like through in my videos. It was like it performed below average, the number of views, and I got no new subs to that video. I think I like lost a sub to that video, and then it like went back up. It was like -1, and I was like pissed off, and then it like went up to like 0, and I got like no new subs. Normally, when I put out videos, you know, like I can see those analytics. Abi Navi Vlogs. You say hi. By the way, I think you are an AI. KG Super Chat $100. Crazy. You said. Yeah, she super chat $100. That is fucking crazy. Right? That is crazy. Sophia, you ask, or SARS COVID. You got to change your name, SARS COVID. Like, no one wants to think about COVID anymore. You know what I'm saying? You love these live sessions, you say. Sophia, you said, what concerns an honors GPA in preclinical years? 3.5 plus question mark? I don't know. I mean, it depends on your school. Schools are different with that stuff. It's not about, it's just about your class rank, pretty much. Because some schools will hand out honors like it's nothing. Other schools, it'll be extremely difficult to get honors. Like no one gets honors. Maybe some schools, it's like, 15% get honors. Other schools, it's like 5% get honors. So, like, some schools are fucking assholes with being like grade deflators. Other schools inflate everyone's fucking grades. Okay. So it's not the actual fucking like, how many honors do you have? It's like, well, just look at the class rank. How do they perform amongst other people in their class? That's what you gotta, contend with. Sunny, you ask, sir, what is your advice to a person who is scared and can't make even small decisions for himself? How to drop USMLE prep because got scared for step one and whole process, can't decide what to do? Well, I mean, look, I'm pretty like, I tend to be pretty trenchant and dismissive of people who are like whiny. I don't like male whining. You gotta like, you know, you gotta be more rock about things. None of this like I'm scared. This isn't lack of empathy. This is about like I'm not a fucking like motherly figure that's gonna like, pat you on the back and tell you like you're okay. Like, you gotta just push yourself through. This is a psychologic screening test as much as it is one regarding your augmentation of knowledge. I've used this analogy before. If you're a family med doc, for example, and like, you know, there's some you get a phone call that like, something's disturbing you or there's some negative stimulus that can't affect the patient care in front of you. You got to be able to handle it. If you're intra operative, if you're in a surgery and there's some like negative stimulus, you got to be able to fucking finish the surgery and like, close the patient up and not have an adverse outcome. So you have to be able to handle adverse stimuli, perturbance. You have to be able to handle that, right? So people who allow themselves to be negatively slash adversely impacted by external factors, while they're studying for the step exams, and then those factors in turn impede their ability to progress. Well, that is actually a screening measure. It's the psychological screening component. It's not just what you know. It's like you got to be able to handle fucking pressures, right? That's what it is. That's what it is. That's I'll just move to the next comment. Christian Ong, if you had wanted to apply to a competitive residency, how much do you think you're? I don't think it would have mattered. I said I was interested in family medicine. I said that's what I was interested in by the med school. I liked family medicine and peds. That's what I was interested by the med school. You're struggling with your home country preparation. Can you advise me? What are you struggling with, Sonny? Christian, post the link to the CBSE video here, someone. Tahu Blad, just said made me 30, got 82%. Am I good to go with the exam in 12 days? It's a high fucking percentage, because you're looking to get, 2/3 minimum to progress through the NBMEs, take the USMLE. I said 205, 210 plus equivalent. 82% is high on the NBMEs for step one. So that's a good score. Just lost where I was in the fucking chat. Tony Mikoletz. Literally been stuck at 48% in my last 3 NBME comp exams. Don't see hope in passing. Well, that's much lower than we want, right? I'm going to end this live chat like pretty fucking soon. In case you can't tell, it's 6 a.m. here. I've been doing this 2.5 hours. I've slowed down. Prague, I have mad respect for anyone who's taken the time to give advice. I'm going to eat. I got to fucking eat shit right now. I'm fucking hungry. I got to shower, shave. Right? I did this for 2.5 hours. I've read every comment, but I'm just looking at them. Yeah, just more med questions. I mean, guys, I've been doing this 2.5 hours. Give the video a like if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. How important is exercise during exam prep, Faz? I mean, it's important. It's best for your psychologic. You got to fucking exercise. It's really important. I'd say it's really, really important. That's self-explanatory, right? I mean, that's like for your psych. It's really, really important. Abelard, your videos will be very helpful. Which videos? I don't know which videos you're talking about. My MCQs? I mean, they are helpful, right? Not will be, they are. But I'm gonna I've got 2 salads in the fridge. I'm gonna have 2 salads. I'll have a protein shake. I'll have some cereal, actually. Is sushi really that much better in Japan? Says John Shaves. I know where to go to get like the best stuff. I know places that like tourists don't know. I know the best place. Like I know where to go. Like I know little like nook fucking places you would never find, like sashimi. I'm not like into sushi. I like sashimi because like I don't like eating a ton of white rice. Obviously, I'll fucking eat it, but like I prefer like I know where to get good sashimi. Pragya, you appreciate my time. You go to Ross. See all my content. You plan to start practicing medicine at some point? No, no, no. I have no interest in that. I've said that, Albert. I've said it. I don't. Exactly, Sebi. That's right. That's funny, guys. As I said, I'm gonna end this fucking live stream. Yeah, I just gotta fucking eat. That's what I'm gonna do right now. All right. So obviously, I'll do more of these. I'll see you guys later. Right. See. There you go. See you guys later.